Welcome back to ESPN's College Football Prime Time. Tonight's broadcast is brought to you in high definition and presented by Pioneer Kuro HD TV. Richmond and Appalachian State in the national semifinal. The winner goes to the national title game next Friday night in Chattanooga. So this level of college football, they play a 16-team playoff. Tonight we'll discuss should there be a playoff bracket at the top level of college football. And we'll check in, speak live with two Heisman Trophy finalists. Tim Tebow and Colt Brennan will join us from New York. Undoubtedly, it's an anxious evening for them with the Heisman Trophy announcement on tap tomorrow. Jerry Moore is the head coach at Appalachian State in his 19th season. 68 years old. Has had a winning season in 18 of his 19 years here. He's a legend, as you'd expect, with 2 national titles consecutively. And Dave Clawson, a contrast in style as well, an up-and-coming young coach in his 4th season at Richmond. He's had unprecedented success, 3 straight winning seasons for the Spiders for the first time since the early 50s. Appalachian State will receive the opening kickoff. Brian Radford to kick off. Richmond won the toss and deferred. Coco Hillary runs it back and goes down at the 28-yard line. 23-yard return. Here comes the Appalachian State offense, led by Armani Edwards, the left-hander. As Chris mentioned, he's not very big, just 175 pounds. When we spoke with Coach Moore and Scott Satterfield, the quarterback coach, yesterday, they said we knew he was talented, but we didn't know how tough and competitive he is. And he looks for contact at 175 pounds.
Yeah, and, you know, the coaches would like him not to look for that contact. Why? Not to prove that he's not tough or tough, but to stay healthy for his ball club. He's that important to this offense.
Play action on first down. Edwards elects to keep it. Very dangerous runner. Then on the first play from scrimmage, all the way out near the 45-yard line. Tyler Sullivan chased him out. Edwards rushes for 132 yards per game. 15-yard gain. The Mountaineers on offense. Nick Cardwell, the former walk-on, is an excellent blocking tight end, and they play 3 wide receivers in the spread. Hans Badishon is their leader. And veterans on the offensive line, Settle, a 4-year starter, Kerry Brown, 2 times the Jacobs blocking trophy as the best blocker in the Southern Conference. He won it again this year. Josh Johnson took the ball for 7.
One thing he does is he dissects the defense well, recognizes the weakness of the zone off corner, hit the little hitch route on the outside right now.
Kevin Richardson went in motion. And Edwards tackled right at midfield for no gain by Brian DeMoss. Part of a very young Richmond defense. They lost 8 starters off a team that went 6-5 last year. DeMoss, one of the few veterans. He's one of 3 senior starters and the leader of that defensive front. 2 freshmen and a sophomore. 2 freshmen and a sophomore at linebacker as well. Eric McBride, the defensive rookie of the year in the Colonial Athletic Association. And in the secondary, Andrew Harris, a 5th-year senior safety, will be busy trying to defend Edwards on the run and also guarding against the deep pass. Kevin Richardson carries for a first down.
Something to look for tonight, Sean, is the balance of the Appalachian State offense. They have a lot of playmakers on their team, and the thing that instead impressed me about Armani Edwards is his ball handling ability. He throws them play action fakes in there nice, and it looks the same as if he's giving the guy the ball. And Kevin Edwards will hit it in a hurry.
Well, it looked like a first down from where we are, and admittedly we don't have a very good vantage point, but apparently they're just short. 4th and less than a yard, so Jerry Moore, after pondering it, sent the punt team on. Neil Young kicks it away, averaging 38 yards per punt. Derek Hatcher makes a fair catch at the 10, and that's where Richmond takes over. 1st and 10 after a 38-yard punt. The Spiders quarterback is Eric Ward, a sophomore. Became a starter early last year, and as a freshman was the offensive rookie of the year in what was then the Atlantic 10 Conference. But he's much better this year, more accurate at 62.5%. That will be the single season school record if that mark stands.
Watched him on film, and he's got genuine confidence and has a good grasp and concept on what they're trying to do on the offensive side of the ball for the Spiders.
Sophomore, 6'3", about 203 pounds. He's added a couple of pounds on since last year. Says he's benefited from the year's experience. Hightower, their all-time leading rusher, for about 3 out near the 13. It'll be 2nd and 7 for Richmond. Hightower will see the bulk of the ball carrying. John Crone, in the words of Coach Clausen, the best blocking fullback he's ever coached, and Kevin Grayson, the redshirt freshman, their leading receiver. Up front, only one senior starter, Derek Stout. The strength of the offensive line, according to Coach Clausen, the guards, Aaron Miller and Matthew McCracken, both are veterans. Miller making his 31st career start today. Called a gain of 2 on 1st down for Richmond. Their ground team, 12th in the nation, averaging 238 yards per game rushing. But here's a pass to Kevin Grayson, and a big gainer out near the 30-yard line. 1st down for Richmond. It's an Appalachian State defense that has struggled against the run. They give up 200 yards per game on the ground, 93rd in the country. Young up front with 4 sophomores. Robertson and Farrington have been the big playmakers in terms of sacks and tackles for loss. Jock Roman is the leading tackler on the team with 115. DJ Smith, an emerging star, and it is a veteran secondary. Jose Lynch and Touchstone are all 4-year starters. Combined, that group has 173 career starts and almost had an interception. Pierre Banks had his hands on it and couldn't hold on. It's a ball hawking defense. They have 15 interceptions as a group.
See Pierre Banks right here. They have 8 men in the box, and reading off the tight end option route with a sit down route inside does a good job of breaking on the football. When you got a chance to make a play in the big game, make a play. Every play counts. Opportunity, take advantage.
Second and 10. And Hightower, been bothered by a sore knee here in the playoffs, chopped down by Corey Lynch, one of the best defensive players in the country, Southern Conference Defensive Player of the Year, and has a chance to be the first 3-time All-American at Appalachian State since Dexter Coakley in the mid-90s. Of course, he went on to have a fine NFL career with the Cowboys.
Lynch does a good job of keeping the eye on the target and tackling the big man one-on-one in the open field. Not an easy task, but a great player will make that play every time.
In line for the best defensive player in the country, the Buck Buchanan Award. 3rd down and 8. Ward under duress. Couple of fakes, and he's chased out of bounds by Gary Farrington, who's been hobbled and was questionable tonight with an ankle injury, but it looked like he was running fine as he was in pursuit of Ward.
Well, if you can get pressure with 4 men and Gary Farrington part of that defensive line, that helps out tremendously. Why? Because that would be considered a weakness of the Mountaineer defense. Even though they're good, solid football players, they're just young and inexperienced. Did a good job of chasing them down.
Brian Radford, the sophomore punter, averaging 38.5 per punt. It's caught on the run by Dexter Jackson, and he's down at the 38-yard line. Tackled by Kevin Grayson, their leading wide receiver, running down there on punt coverage. 33-yard punt, 5-yard return, no score. Each team has had it once. This stadium's capacity is listed at just over 16,000. This year they average 27,000 per home date, so there are an awful lot of people on the hill slopes around the Rock. This field at 3,333 feet. Great home field advantage, one of the best in college football for Appalachian State. One more home win and they'll play for their third national title next week. Armani Edwards keeps and goes to the 42-yard line. Tackled by Colin McConaughey, the middle linebacker, sophomore from Madison Heights, Virginia, one of those newcomers on this defense for Richmond, trying to contend with this prolific Appalachian State team that's particularly good at home.
And I'm part of that linebacking crew, and the best thing they do is run. And you saw right there, McConaughey getting outside, tackling Edwards.
Edwards with an option look and pitches it late to Richardson, who lowers his shoulder. And he appeared to get the first down, ran into Andrew Harris, the free safety, the son of the former Dallas Cowboy All-Pro Cliff Harris, who's here tonight to watch his son play what he hopes will not be the last game of his career. It's an 8-yard gain for Richardson.
Well, that's what makes the Mountaineer offense so hard to defend. They run the spread, they have the spread option out of it, and they also have the power game from there. So you don't know what to defend, and then Harris has to be the guy to defend the run and the pass. Tough duty tonight for him.
Pass is complete to Dexter Jackson. He's a very speedy player, and he might go. Touchdown, Appalachian State. 52 yards.
Again, this is the ability to run after catch. And if you're the 200-meter champion in the Southern Conference, this is what you bring to the table. People have angles on Dexter. Dexter doesn't care. Right there, the ability to make people miss. One of the things that Richmond defense had to do tonight was tackle well in space. Didn't get it done.
The extra point good by Julian Roush. And it's 7-0. You alluded to it, Chris. It's a very interesting story. Dexter Jackson's a senior from Dunwoody, Georgia. Had never really run track in his life. And this past spring, the track team, which annually is the best in the Southern Conference, is out practicing. The legendary track coach John Weaver coaching his team. Saw Dexter Jackson out there. Asked him if he wanted to run in the local meet that they were hosting. Jackson fared so well, he qualified to run in the conference meet, and he won the 200 meters. This is a guy with no track training, basically just got down in the stance, took off, and won the conference 200-meter championship.
Yeah, not only does Coach Moore have an eye for talent, but apparently the track coach knows talent when he sees it. And right there, you saw that speed. That's why NFL scouts are looking at this kid, because of that ability to burst and go like he did. Guys had angles on him, Sean. He left them.
Jackson had 28 catches coming in, 6 of them for touchdowns, averages just over 20 yards per reception. That one good for 52. And Appalachian State is first on the board. Only one team held him under 30 points this year. That was James Madison. James Madison held them to 28 when a 28-27 Appalachian State win in the first round of these playoffs. And that was right here. Appalachian State was fortunate to win that game. They had a couple of key plays go their way late. Roush, who has a strong leg, kicks it down to Justin Rogers, who's returned 2 kickoffs for touchdowns this year. And the CAA Special Teams Player of the Year was chopped down to the 25 by Cam Spear, an outstanding linebacker. Return of 22. Here's Rob Stone.
Well, Sean, last night I was talking to Todd McShay, NFL draft expert, Scouts Inc. of ESPN, and there's about 4 guys on the field tonight who are potential draftees by the NFL. Dexter Jackson, certainly one of them. Todd said he's about a 5th, 6th, or 7th round guy, short, small, but crafty. 4.36. He was timed in the 40s, so they know his speed can play at that next level.
Todd McShay undoubtedly watching tonight. He's a proud graduate of the University of Richmond. Outstanding academic school, small private institution, just under 3,000 students in the capital of the great Commonwealth of Virginia. Hightower dropped for a loss of a couple. On first down, DJ Smith, the true freshman linebacker from Charlotte out of Independence High School, where he played on 4 state championship teams that won a combined 60-0. He made the tackle.
Well, this is how Appalachian has to be successful tonight, is hanging on and stopping the run. DJ Smith in there along with Tharrington. And if you get gang tackling and hit a 240-pound back, I guarantee he goes down easier if 2 guys hit him as opposed to just 1 guy throwing the wood.
DJ Smith drew the rays of John Wiley, the defensive coordinator. He said he's a tremendous player already as a freshman against the run and the pass. Play action fake by Ward. Nowhere to throw it, so he runs across the 30. Got shoved out by Pierre Banks, the junior from Durham, North Carolina. A gain of 8.
That's what Ward has to do, is make good decisions. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen here. Richmond has got to start throwing the ball down the field. Appalachian State is challenging. They're playing man-to-man on the corners. They're playing 1 guy deep, and they have 8 in the box. In order to loosen them up, you better start throwing the ball over 10 to 15 yards to get something going, at least put the fear in them that you're going to throw the ball down the field.
They've played almost the entire year with Armand Shields, preseason first-team all-conference player who injured his knee in the 2nd game of the year after he had 11 catches in their opener at Vanderbilt. Ward throws incomplete. In the direction of Jordan Mitchell. Richmond sideline wanted a flag. Justin Wozay had the coverage. There's Shields, hurt in the 2nd game of the year at Northeastern. Tried to come back for 1 game at midseason but couldn't go. There's an outside chance he could play in the national championship game next week in Chattanooga if they win tonight. 14 catches in a little more than 1 game this year. 1 total game, bit parts of 2 others. Dexter Jackson caught the Radford punt. A couple of nice moves to avoid the first man, and an 8-yard return of a 43-yard punt. Edwards in the offense back on the field for the Mountaineers, who lead 7-0.
The NCAA Division I Football Championship is presented on ESPN by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. We'll pick you up. And in part by the Home Depot. This year, get them a gift card from the Ho Ho Home Depot.
Speaking of ho ho ho, we'll look at Clausen's Choose and Cut, one of 130 Christmas tree farms in this area in Watauga County. This area famous for their Fraser fir trees, which can only grow above 3,000 feet. As we mentioned, this stadium is about 3,300 feet.
I'm getting fired up because as soon as I get off the plane tomorrow, that's what my wife and my 4 kids are going to go do, is get our tree. So that jacked me up right there. I'm ready.
Yeah, we're not going to let you have a chainsaw, though. From the 33, Armani Edwards, swung down by Michael Ireland, the safety, playing for the injured Stephen Howell. That's a loss for Richmond. Howell, the 5th-year senior, 2nd-team all-conference safety, injured a shoulder early in their win last week at Wofford. The good news is Ireland played much of that game, and he made 3 of the biggest plays in the game, including an interception of the Wofford Terriers. Michael's a walk-on out of Falls Church, Virginia.
A nice job by tackling in space. They didn't do it last time against Dexter Jackson, but he got it done versus Armani right there.
Quick throw in the direction of James Hill, and it's incomplete. Armani Edwards is out of Greenwood, South Carolina. He told us it's about 45 minutes from Greenville. He says, Greenwood, a big town. He said, well, we have a Walmart. That seems to be how they judge whether their town is big or not, because when we asked Kevin Richardson if Elizabethtown, North Carolina is big, he said, well, we do have a Walmart.
Well, I'm proud to report that Boone, North Carolina, has a Walmart. There you go.
3rd down and 7. Here's a blitz. Edwards got it off and has a receiver wide open for a first down. It's Hans Badashan out near the 50-yard line for a 12-yard gain. Edwards hung in there in the face of that blitz, and he took a pretty good lick from Eric McBride.
Well, when you're a running quarterback and you're used to taking shots, that will help you hang in that pocket. You see the arm strength right there. He couldn't step into his throw because there was nowhere to step. Almost a little bit of jump pass.
Devin Moore is in the backfield with Kevin Richardson. Don't see much two-back offense from Appalachian State. Edwards after the fake. Another strong run inside the 35-yard line of Richmond. There's a flag down. Brian DeMoss chased out Edwards. First down and more if it stands, but there is a penalty on the play.
This is what we talk about the option game, and here's an example of the power game. And Devin Moore throwing the lead block. You see the good play action fake.
First and foul. Late hit out of bounds. 62 on the defense. 15-yard penalty and it's in the run. Automatic first down.
Brian DeMoss, who made the tackle, flagged by this Southland Conference officiating crew led by Roger Gaskamp.
See Devin Moore right there sealing the deal in the explosion and burst and power. Hit the trifecta there, showed you all. Quickness, explosion, burst.
Wow.
Devon Moore. Yeah, that's weak.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the penalty. He might have been just barely out of bounds. DeMoss called for the penalty.
It's the playoffs. Let him go.
We enjoyed our visit with Brian DeMoss yesterday. Here's Edwards again. Inside the 10 and another first down. 11 yards on that run by Armani Edwards. Richmond knew what it was in for. Russ Huseman, the defensive coordinator, said he's the most dynamic player by far we've faced this year. And he's been dynamic here in the first quarter.
He was impressive on film. Has not disappointed today. More impressive in person. And again, when you have a running back playing your quarterback position, you can't defend them all.
6 carries, 49 yards for Edwards. He's thrown a 52-yard touchdown pass. He handed it off that time. Kevin Richardson. Not much on that carry.
Extreme confidence coming from Armani Edwards and talking to him. And a lot of times when guys come and play in the FCS Football Championship Subdivision, formerly known as the Artist 1AA, guys miss. And when you come here, you get your opportunity. He shines. He not only shines at this level, he shined against Michigan with the numbers he put up against the Wolverine defense.
For most of the bigger schools want him to play another position. He's a pretty good quarterback, and he's just run for a touchdown to make it 13-0 for Appalachian State on a 7-yard run. th rushing touchdown of the season for the quarterback, Armani Edwards. Julian Roush adds the extra point. 235th of his career, adding to his Appalachian State record. The two-time defending national champions looking very much like they want to play for a third, leading 14-0 with 6.5 to go in the first quarter. Armani Edwards has thrown for a touchdown, run for one. Then Appalachian State leads Richmond 14-0. This start reminiscent of Armani's performance in their season opener at Michigan. It's been a college football season highlighted by one surprise and upset after another. And the Mountaineers delivered perhaps the biggest shock, many believe the greatest upset in the history of college football. They were the first team from this level to beat a ranked FBS team. When Michigan was ranked number 5, and they did it in Ann Arbor, as Edwards passed for 227 and 3 touchdowns and ran for 62 and another score.
I just watching him tonight, and I don't know if he's going to have a chance. I mean, it's way early, and he's going to finish his 4 years and all that, but I always think ahead. A guy that he reminds me of or could turn into, if he's not a quarterback in the NFL, what he could be is like a Joshua Cribbs for the Cleveland Browns, an all-purpose athlete that can do it all.
Julian Roush kicks off. Justin Rogers, special teams player of the year in the Colonial, had kickoff returns for scores against Vanderbilt in New Hampshire and had thoughts about taking that one the distance. Settled for a 41-yard return. Travis Dowda made the tackle with help from Mark Legree, who's a standout on kick coverage and has been battling a thigh injury.
Well, a lot of guys chose not to kick to Justin Rogers, and you can see why. The freshman with the vision and the burst to get something positive going for the Spiders.
For a while, Justin was leading the nation in kickoff returns. He's third right now at better than 31 yards per return. But as Chris mentioned, Dave Clawson said second half of the year, they saw a lot of bloop kicks, sky kicks, squib kicks. Ward on what looked like a design run. And Eric showing there are two quarterbacks in this game who can run. He goes for about 9. Let's check in with Dari Noka. Here's the Sports Center 30 at 30 update.
All right, guys. Home run king Barry Bonds pled not guilty today in a San Francisco courtroom to charges of perjury and obstruction of justice. If the charges are eventually sustained, Bonds could spend up to 2.5 years in jail. Saints running back Reggie Bush could miss the rest of the season. He's certainly out for Monday's game against the Falcons with a partially torn left knee ligament. Details after this game on SportsCenter. You can stay current with ESPN News. Guys?
All right, Dari, thank you. Here it's the national semifinals. The winner will play for the national title next Friday night in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And on 2nd down and 1, the first down for Tim Hightower. See if Richmond can settle in, be patient. They lean heavily on the ground game, and you have to imagine a lot of butterflies. Their school has never been in this situation before. So they're in the national semifinals for the first time ever in one of the toughest places in the country to play.
Oh, yeah, and you're only 6 minutes left in the first quarter. You stick with what you have, but I'm telling you, in order to loosen Appalachian State's defense up, you're going to have to take a shot down the field, and they're just challenging them on the corners outside. 8 in the box, 1 deep, and man-to-man on the perimeter.
Dave Clawson, the head coach, does call the plays. He has a background as an offensive coordinator. Good escapability by Ward to get back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. Gary Farrington frustrated he couldn't get Ward down behind the line of scrimmage. Anthony Williams did. At the line, sophomore from Concord, North Carolina.
Pressure again with 4 men. Tony Robertson with speed off the corner.
Saw the graphic on Dave Clawson, 4th year at Richmond, 2 times the conference coach of the year. While with the Spiders, he was the head coach prior to that for 5 years at Fordham, and twice was the Patriot League coach of the year. So in 9 years as a head coach, he's been the best coach in his league, according to his peers, 4 times. And he is starting to get a lot of recognition now as one of the rising young coaches, just 40 years old, and looks even more youthful than that, from Youngstown, New York, on the Canadian border near Niagara Falls. He played high school football with Darrell Johnston, the
Moose,
future star. Went on to Syracuse and the Dallas Cowboys. Now does a great job in our business. I have a feeling a lot more folks around the country are going to know about Dave Clawson before his career is over.
Well, yeah, not only that does he operate as the head coach, Sean, the motivator, the leader, the offensive coordinator, but the ability to recruit. Richmond is a very difficult school to get into. It's expensive to go to, so they don't get a lot of walk-ons. And his ability to recruit talented athletes right there is evident in his record, especially the last 3 years.
Yeah, they hadn't had 3 winning seasons in a row since 1953, 54, and 55. He's done it in years 2, 3, and 4 for Coach Clawson at Richmond. So we sell young men on a chance to get an education on a par with a Stanford, a Northwestern, or a Duke, but we can be very competitive at the national level, at our level. And what a hit. Jordan Mitchell got walloped after a 13-yard catch.
Right here's the man-to-man beater. The corner's off. He runs a slant pass. And you see this shot laid on by Titus Howard. Rose comes in and tries to undercut the route. Doesn't get there, but he knows he has Howard there with the backup.
21st catch of the year for Mitchell, sophomore from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Then the big hit by Titus Howard, one of those 4 seniors in the secondary. And Hightower, the ball carry for yard. And you made the point earlier, John Wiley, the defensive coordinator, has such faith in those 4 seniors 3 of them 4-year starters, combined 173 starts. He said, I can just lock those 4 up in the secondary, and everybody else is playing the run. So a lot of the night tonight, they're going to have 8 men up there playing the run.
Well, the trust in the defense right there. You saw Jose try to undercut the route because he's trying to make a play. If he fails, he knows because of the experience back there that one of the safeties is going to back him up, and Howard did his job and more.
Richmond on the move. Good kickoff return got this possession started. They're the 29 of Appalachian State, down 14-0. Play action pass for Ward, man wide open. Grayson inside the 5, and touchdown. The officials conferred and then indicated that Grayson, the redshirt freshman from Richmond, Virginia, had reached the pylon. And that was a much needed score for the Spiders as everything was going against them to start the game.
Well, again, they get mixed up in their man-to-man coverage. Touchstone gets nosy, jumps inside, but what they do, they threw the ball down the field. You have to take your shots against this team. Eventually get them, and Grayson's been a playmaker all year. Ooh, it might be reviewing to see if he stepped out of bounds with the left foot.
I don't think that he did based on that replay. And this is new at the FCS level, formerly Division I AA. They do not have instant replay review during the regular season, nor did they have it in the playoffs prior to tonight. It begins with the semifinals. I think that's a touchdown.
Absolutely. What a good job of field awareness. Light feet. And getting that ball to the pylon.
Grayson, like so many of the players at this level, not highly recruited. Bob Black, the longtime radio voice of the Spiders and associate athletic director at Richmond, was telling us last night that Dave Clawson and the assistant coaches used to go to Grayson's high school games. He played in a running offense and hope that he wouldn't catch any passes because they didn't want any other schools to know about it.
Touchdown.
Yeah, and good. They would say they would get mad if he caught one pass, but they wanted him to be a feature receiver. And Sean, he has a lot of ability, a big-sized target too, and understands routes.
He was expected to be a role player as a redshirt freshman. With Armand Shields lost for the year, Grayson's become their leading receiver. That was his 6th touchdown catch of the year. The extra point is just barely good by Andrew Howard, who has never missed. 88 for 88 in his career. Saturday on ESPN, college football's heroes of the past welcome a new member to their exclusive club. One player will transcend greatness and become a legend. The Final Four have been invited to New York. Will it be Colt Brennan of Hawaii, Missouri's Chase Daniel, Arkansas's Darren McFadden, or Tim Tebow of the University of Florida? You'll find out tomorrow during the Heisman Trophy presentation presented by Nissan on ESPN Saturday night at 8 Eastern. Later in tonight's telecast, we'll speak with Tim Tebow and Colt Brennan. Tim Tebow cleaned up last night at the Home Depot Awards. Won a couple of the biggest awards, the Maxwell Award for National Player of the Year and the Davey O'Brien Quarterback Award.
You know, I think all 4 guys you can make an argument for. It's kind of like how the BCS kind of mirrors the Heisman race this year. You can mix and match them, and really it's tough to argue against any one of those guys that happens to walk away with the trophy.
And just like the season,
exactly.
So much balance among the teams. So many questions all year long. Which is the best team? Which are the top teams? And Heisman race seemed to change every week as well.
It did. And again, Tim Tebow put up some incredible numbers and would be the first sophomore ever to win the Heisman Trophy if indeed he does walk away with the hardware.
Brian Radford kicks off. Down to Coco Hillary. And he's out across the 40-yard line. 37-yard return by Hillary. That was a nice night last night on the awards show. As mentioned, Tebow walked off with a couple of big awards. McFadden, the Doak Walker, is the best running back in the country. Glenn Dorsey needs to clean some space in his trophy case. And not listed, Coach Mangino of Kansas, the National Coach of the Year. So congratulations to these and the other winners.
Guaranteed Dorsey would trade all those in for a national championship and a victory against the Buckeyes.
Edwards flushed as McBride came on a blitz and didn't get him. And now Armani takes off and gets near the 50-yard line. Run out by Tyler Sullivan, redshirt freshman linebacker.
And Russ Huseman dialed it up. McBride's coming free, and he talked about if we have a chance to sack Edwards, let's sack him. And McBride really made no shot. He got caught up in the turf, and you see the speed and the recognition that's an old one, of Edwards to get out on the corner.
Russ Huseman been with Dave Clawson here for all 4 years. Longtime assistant at William & Mary, where he coached Darren Sharper. Went on to start him in the NFL. Evan Richardson ran into Colin McConaughey, but it's a first down for Appalachian State in Richmond territory. Near the 46-yard line. Russ Huseman from Cincinnati, Ohio, played at the legendary Moeller high school football program for Jerry Faust, and he said Coach Faust is probably the biggest reason I'm in coaching. Not only a great coach, but a great man.
Yeah, I happen to know Coach Faust, and the most optimistic person I ever met in my life, and really a genuine guy and a great football coach, especially at the high school level with that dynasty known as Moeller.
Hand off to Tavares Washington. And he has another first down inside the 35. Michael Ireland ran him out. Washington has great speed. Scott Satterfield, the offensive coordinator, without the title. He's the quarterback's coach. Jerry Moore doesn't want to have an offensive coordinator. So Tom Osborne, you can have one. It worked well enough for him. I like an offensive staff that works by committee. Everybody's ideas are important, but Scott Satterfield calls the plays, and he calls a lot of the speed sweeps for Washington to take advantage of his speed.
Yeah, you can see why, and they said that the Spider defense, the one thing they improved on there this year was speed, but I've yet to see it against this speedy Mountaineer offense.
Edwards under duress. Even at 170 pounds, they had a tough time getting him on the ground. Martin Parker had a hand on him. Edwards got back near the line of scrimmage. We're ticking down to 2.5 minutes left in the first quarter. Division I national semifinal game. The winner will play for the national championship next Friday night in Chattanooga, Tennessee. The other semifinal is tomorrow. Southern Illinois and Delaware.
Salukis.
All fighting Blue Hens.
Yeah. Alma mater of the smarter Spielman, Rick Spielman, member of the national championship team Salukis back in the early 80s.
Richmond's never made it to the title game. It's their first semifinal. Appalachian State trying to get to the title game and win it for the third year in a row for Coach Jerry Moore, who has called for a timeout. What a delightful gentleman he is. We talked about how Coach Huseman said Jerry Faust, the big reason why he wanted to get into coaching. We spoke with Corey Lynch, the All-American safety, yesterday for Appalachian State. Said, I've been so blessed in my career. Won national championships, a part of that win against Michigan. He met his future bride here. But he said the chance to play for Coach Moore. He said, such a man of character, outstanding coach. He said, I can't imagine playing for anybody who's a better coach than Coach Moore.
And I can't imagine a coach getting higher praise. I mean, especially at this level, at any collegiate level, you want to have an impact on young men for life, and Coach Moore certainly impacted his players, and that's his legacy. Not the national championship, but the impact that he's had on his young men.
We asked Jerry Moore, did you think when you came here you'd be here for 19 years? He said, I didn't think I was going to make it 6 months. Edwards takes off and has another first down on an 11-yard gain. And really a big reason why here late in his career that they're having this kind of success, Jerry Moore points to it, the change. He said, I coached for 40 years as basically a power I formation coach, but 4 years ago they went to the spread and they won 2 national championships with it.
There's confusion. You look out there on the corners, these receivers aren't going to move. Look, they're looking for the play, but when you have Armani Edwards, he can improvise, adapt, and overcome. Good positive yards. The receivers were looking to the play for the looking to the sidelines for the play. Armani says, I got it, boys.
Already 102 yards rushing for the Mountaineers. They're 5th in the country at this level at 270 per game. Edwards just ripping through the defense, gets thrown down by Tyler Sullivan, but it's another first down. Appalachian State on the move.
Watching the film and seeing it here in person, the offensive line for the Mountaineers is flat nasty. I mean, they finish blocks and they move people, and you can see that Armonte Edwards is not getting touched until he gets 7 or 8 yards down the field.
First and goal from just inside the 10. Kevin Richardson, tackled by Tyler Sullivan. A big part of the success of this program at Appalachian State is walk-ons. Jerry Moore said somebody in the athletics department did a study. In the first 10 years Jerry was the coach here, they took 100 walk-ons and put them on scholarship, and one of them is Kevin Richardson. From walk-on to the all-time leading rusher in the history of the school.
And that's the eye for talent, and the ability to recruit and save scholarships until you're sure about a guy. That's a nice luxury to have.
And he said he really didn't have any other opportunities, so he came here by the end of fall camp, his first year here, in a partial scholarship. Wasn't on full scholarship till he was a sophomore. Edwards has earned his scholarship tonight. Touchdown Appalachian State, his second rushing score to go with a touchdown pass.
It's almost too easy, Sean. And what they're doing again, the offensive linemen are sticking on blocks. It looks like the Spider defensive line has Velcro to their jerseys. Scott Suttle right here, the big center, hustling downfield, cutting off McGonaghy, the middle linebacker, allowing Edwards to slither into the end zone.
95 yards rushing for Edwards. Roush the extra point. Suttle, another one of those former walk-ons who became a 4-year starter at center.
Well, he's running the option to his right, so you got to know, you don't know if he's comfortable pitching the ball to his right, but he is comfortable tucking it and finding the prize.
So 21 points for this spread option attack of Appalachian State here in the first quarter. Here's Rob Stone.
Well, Sean, in 2003, they went from that power football to the spread, and the Mountaineers went to the Mountaineers for some offensive help. Bill Stewart, who is the associate head coach at West Virginia, real tight with Coach Moore. So Moore sent his whole staff down there to Morgantown to talk about this and figure some things out. And I talked to Coach Stewart today. I said, hey, what were some of the things you guys were really trying to work on? He said, Coach Moore, the main problem that he was really worried about was the signaling into the plays and the overall tempo. Like, how fast can these plays be signaled in, and how much time is going to be left pre-snap? Stewart told me today that the trip kind of mutually beneficial as well as West Virginia. They actually, guys, now incorporate a series of plays in some blocking schemes that Coach Moore and his staff ended up passing on to them. Once a Mountaineer, always a Mountaineer, no matter where you are.
This worked well for all the Mountaineers of West Virginia and Appalachian State. Jerry Moore was not an easy convert, however. Kickoff by Roush.
I laugh because there's a good story behind that.
Justin Rogers. Another nice kickoff return out to the 40, maybe even the 41. And Jerry Moore said, we talked to West Virginia, we talked to Utah, but mostly West Virginia. Worked on it a lot in spring ball, but when we started summer camp before the 04th season, I thought we'd go back to some of our power eye and some of the spread, do a little bit of both. But we wound up all spread. We went out to Wyoming to play our first game, all excited about our new offense. Fumbled on the first play. I got run back for a score. We lost 53-7. Said if Coach Glenn wasn't such a good guy, it could have been 153-7. And Jerry Moore told us yesterday on the flight back, I was thinking, how quickly can we change back to being a power eye team?
Oh, I could just imagine his coaches pleading with him. But, you know, a good coach will be patient. He stayed patient, and it's paid off.
They were 6-5 that first year, but then national championships each of the last two. Kevin Grayson fumbles, and the Mountaineers have it. 23-yard gain, but they turn it over.
You'll watch Grayson right here. Again, working one-on-one, does a good job of making make a miss, but you see, trying to get extra yards and loses the ball with Pierre Banks not quitting on the play, will strip the ball out of here. Then you see a lot of black helmets running to the ball. Tharrington, defensive lineman, down the field 20 yards to finish. Great job of extra effort. Playoff football, playoff defense. You're seeing it from the Mountaineers.
Pierre Banks and Titus Howard strip Grayson. Gary Tharrington recovers. That's been a rarity for Richmond. They were +5 in turnovers in their first 2 games in the playoffs. Both of them wins over Eastern Kentucky and Wofford. Armani Edwards with a fitting end to that first quarter as he goes for 9 to get over 100 yards rushing in the first quarter. 104 to be precise, and a couple of touchdowns. Appalachian State has raced to a 21-7 lead after 1 quarter here in Boone, North Carolina. Appalachian State, the 2-time defending national champions, will win tonight, and they'll have a chance to play for another next Friday night in Chattanooga, Tennessee. They lead Richmond tonight 21-7 after 1 quarter. Sean McDonough with Chris Spielman. Of course, the FCS playoffs, the semifinals, a big part of this college football weekend. But tomorrow night, the Heisman Trophy presentation from New York City. The 4 finalists are in New York City. And we're pleased to welcome Florida quarterback, the outstanding sophomore Tim Tebow, who during the commercial break, Chris tells us that he is on a bus right now taking a tour of New York City with the other Heisman Trophy finalists. What have been the highlights of the sightseeing trip so far, Tim?
Well, we just got out of Rockefeller Center, and that was really neat. We got a lot of pictures and everything in there, so that was fun, and now we're on our way to Central Park.
Well, enjoy the rest of it. Have you ever been to New York City before?
I've never been. This is my first trip, and it's been a lot of fun so far.
Kevin Richardson on first down here for Appalachian State. And he's all the way down to the 35-yard line. Tonight, Appalachian State running an offense quite similar to the one run by Florida, the spread. And, Tim, you made history this year. 20 touchdowns or more, both passing and running. You're the first person ever to do that. A lot of people think that's the big reason why you're going to win the Heisman Trophy. How do you size up your chances of being the winner tomorrow night?
Well, I'm not sure, the outcome. I just know that, we've had a pretty good season, and I'm thankful for being here, and that's an honor in itself. And, I'm just having a lot of fun with the contestants, and, I'm just going to enjoy the journey and enjoy being here, and it's a big honor. And it's a big honor just to be, named and awarded to come here, and so I'm just thankful for this opportunity.
Well, Armani Edwards is doing a Tim Tebow imitation here tonight. He runs for a 36-yard touchdown. There is a flag down on the end of the run. It might be for that dive into the end zone that was unnecessary. If it stands, it's the 3rd rushing touchdown of the game for Edwards to go with a passing touchdown.
Well, it's the second one on the option, too, and you see the burst. And again, it's like a men against boys right now. Tim, I was wondering, did you surpass your expectations that you had for yourself as far as individuals go this year? Individual goals.
I didn't know what to expect this year, but coming in, we had some goals for ourselves. Obviously, we didn't make the SEC or National Championship, which were our goals. But we did have some good things this season that we did, and we're looking to improve on those things those things next year. And we're excited with the way our season went and the way we put up some points, but we're looking to get better next year.
Well, some wonder if some of the voters will hold the 3 losses against you. And there has also been some speculation, because no freshman or sophomore has ever won the Heisman, that might be held against you. Are you afraid of either one of those things perhaps working against you as they count the votes?
Well, I think people are a little bit over the sophomore thing, because that's been talked about for a little while, and I don't think that'll be too much of an issue. Maybe the three-loss thing might, but we play in a very tough conference in the SEC, and we had some games that we thought we could have pulled out, but we just weren't able to. So it's just a tough conference, but hopefully we'll do better next year. And I'm just enjoying it, and I don't know if they're going to hold that against me or not. We'll find out.
Hey, if you win it, what are you going to do for your offensive line and receivers?
You know, I'll take them out to dinner and buy them whatever they want. That's for sure.
Well, you're there in New York. You're on the bus tour with the other finalists. Has there been much interaction with the other guys? You had the award show last night. Now they're in New York together.
Yeah, we've had a great time together, getting to know everybody and having fun. And, you know, they're a great bunch of guys, and we've had a great time getting to know each other. And so, you know, we're having a lot of fun. So no matter what happens here, I think we're all going to be friends and, you know, have a great time here.
Well, Tim, I don't know if they're close enough to hear you answer. I don't want you to offend two of them, but if you couldn't vote for yourself among the Final Four, which one of the other guys would you vote for?
Well, you know, I haven't been able to see them play a whole lot this season, you know, but I know Darren is a very good player, so you know, if I had to vote, I would probably give it to Darren because, you know, he did a lot of great things this year in the SEC, and a very tough conference, and I think he's a great player.
And he's probably sitting next to you there on the bus. Hey, Tim, thank you. Congratulations on your big night last night. You've already won a lot of hardware, the Maxwell and Davey O'Brien. We wish you and the other finalists a lot of luck there in New York tomorrow night. We look forward to watching it.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you, Tim. Congratulations. The Heisman Trophy presentation tomorrow night on ESPN, 8 Eastern time, presented by Nissan.
Penalty being forced on the kickoff. 5 yards. We'll re-kick.
Well, they had to kick off. Already having been penalized because of the unsportsmanlike conduct on the Edwards touchdown. But it's hard to argue what Tim Tebow did this year. I mean, when you make history, you think about all the great players who have played college football, and nobody has had 20 or more touchdown runs and passes in the same year. And playing the schedule that he plays, I mean, maybe people are hesitant because they lost 3 and he's a sophomore, but it says the best player in 2007. I think you could make, I believe you could make the most compelling case for him. I think he's going to win.
Yeah, I think he's going to probably win too. And the thing that doesn't show up on the stat sheet, Sean, is his durability. I mean, he's the short yardage back. That's a very difficult position to play in itself. And the quarterback being your short yardage back shows the toughness, not only mentally of Tim Tebow, but physically.
The receivers back deep for Richmond now are near the 30-yard line. Jimmy Rush has a very strong leg, and that one goes out of bounds. He's going to be kicking off from that hill slope in a moment where a lot of the fans have gathered beyond the end zone in this overflow crowd.
Free kick, out of bounds, kicky team. 5-yard penalty, re-kick.
I can understand, you know, kicking the ball to one side of the field, but I wouldn't kick it to the side that Justin Rogers is on, since he's almost broke 2 tonight. Take a squib kick, and maybe at this point you try to bounce it off one of the guys up front that aren't used to handling the ball.
Well, those folks are in the woods. This is a wooded area, the southernmost edge of the Blue Ridge Mountains. We're about a half-hour drive from the Tennessee border and the Virginia border here in the corner of North Carolina. Beautiful country. MSN just rated this one of the 10 best outdoor places in America. Boone, named for Daniel Boone. And these folks love their football. I mean, they expected 25,000 people here tonight. The town is 13,000 population. The school has about 13,000 students. So I mean, it's just about everybody in town is here in the stadium tonight.
And they're passionate about their football. Goes again.
The kickoff from the 5-yard line. Juggled for a moment by Justin Rogers. Appalachian State had a lot of problems in kickoff coverage last week against Eastern Washington. It almost cost them, and they spent a lot of time working on it this week. But they've had difficulty again tonight. Rogers a good return to set up the Richmond touchdown. Now the penalties giving the Richmond return unit a great opportunity. And Rogers returned it 30 yards. So outstanding field position to begin this drive for the Richmond Spiders, the only school in college athletics with the nickname Spiders.
And they got to spider their way back up the wall to get into this game. Dave Clawson has talked about not settling for field goals but getting touchdowns. When you're down 28-7, you need to get 6 at a time.
They don't want to get into a shootout with this high-scoring Appalachian State squad. The pitch back to Hightower, and he runs out of bounds after about a 1-yard gain. Comes a senior from Waldorf, Maryland. Here's Rob Stone.
At the 36-yard line.
That's Sean?
Go ahead, Rob. We hear you.
It helps when you turn on the microphone. So
well, you know, you've been busy changing diapers for the
I've been
last 2 weeks.
distracted. All right, I'll tell you what. I'll let you call this play, then I'll give you my awesome knowledge.
I like it. Just a little drama builder. 2nd and 9, Richmond. We'll come in at 11-2, the school record for wins in a season, and penalty will stop the play. So go ahead, Stoner.
All right, Richmond right now going without starting right tackle Michael Silva. Left knee injury. Brace off. Ice bag is on it. He's got a crutch underneath his right shoulder. You know, Richmond does not tell you the status of their players due to injuries, but reading the nonverbals, I'd say he is extremely doubtful. And one to keep your eye on, number 9, Jordan Mitchell, the wide receiver. Remember, he took that nasty pop late in the first quarter. He came over to the sideline just a couple minutes ago. As late as that, they were doing some concussion tests on him. Keep your eye on his right forearm. That's really where he took the largest part of the impact. He's been kind of doing the old motion of the hands, making grips. An assistant coach came out, was tossing him some footballs to make sure he can still hold on to it. So he's out there, but keep your eye on him in case he's got the old drops.
All right, we will. You know, Richmond's had a remarkable season, 6-5 last year, and it was disappointing as at one point they were 5-1. They lose 8 starters off the defense. Then at the start of this year, they lose their best wide receiver, all-conference player in the second game, their best offensive lineman, the other tackle, Tim Silver, in the first game for the year with a knee injury. They lost their best defensive end, Sherman Logan, a preseason all-conference player. They played without him all year, and yet here they are having the best season in school history. Ward to Grayson, and he gets walloped. This time held on. Jerome Touchstone leveled him. Grayson's fumble was costly a moment ago, and it's hard to believe he didn't cough this one up after a 9-yard gain.
A great job of Touchstone breaking on the football, bringing his feet and running through the man, not to the man. And you see what the secondary is doing. Yes, Richmond's catching the ball and doing a good job of holding it, but the 4 veterans back there in the secondary are sending a message that there will be a price to pay if you bring in the rock.
It was good for a first down for Grayson. He was the offensive rookie of the year in the Colonial Athletic Association, and he has a touchdown. Nicely thrown by Ward, 26 yards. Second touchdown of the game for Grayson. And the lead is 28-13 for Appalachian State.
Sean, you said it as a great throw by Ward. Why they run the skinny post. You see the skinny post move. It's kind of a slant and go. Sluggo throws it to the back shoulder. And good job of Grayson turning late to the ball. Wose has no shot because Grayson held his patience and made the catch.
And Andrew Howard kicks the extra point. 2 touchdown passes for Eric Ward tonight. And Richmond trying to battle back. Down 28-14 early in the second quarter. Five catches for Kevin Grayson for 102 yards and 2 touchdowns. For the redshirt freshman from Richmond, who had a big year and posted big numbers, 61 catches coming in despite missing 2 games with a broken finger during midseason.
One of the things that they're doing, and we talked about this, you and I, in the first quarter, in order to take their shots down the field, you got to go ahead and take them. They started doing that, and when they did it, both times resulted into a touchdown. So we'll see if Coach Wiley of the Mountaineer defense will adjust and start playing those guys off a little bit.
Ryan Radford to kick off for Richmond. And it is caught by a stumbling TJ Corman. He managed to get it back to the 34-yard line. Let's take a look now at the Coke Zero game track. Armani Edwards has been the star. He has rushed for 140 yards already and 3 touchdowns. After he threw for the first score of the game, a 52-yard strike to Dexter Jackson. A lot of that was run after the catch. Edwards has done plenty of running himself. We'll give Richmond credit. Eric Ward and the offense, they've remained poised. 2 touchdown passes. Ward to Kevin Grayson.
Armani's all 3 touchdown runs been on the triple option to the right.
Takes a pass one way, throws it back to the other, and nothing doing. Richardson smothered right at the line of scrimmage by Brian DeMoss, the senior who completed his academic studies earlier this week. He will graduate later this month, and he's taken his last final, rhetoric and communication studies major. A little slow to get up. He said he'd like to get a job in sales when he leaves the University of Richmond. His brother was a fine defensive tackle at Widener. Brian's from Myersville, Maryland. We asked him about his hometown. He said, well, it's small, near Frederick and Hagerstown. It's on Route 70. And he said, I used to work in an Exxon station, and it was from my Exxon station that somebody spotted the DC area sniper Malveaux.
Yeah.
Made a call that led to his capture the next day. So the Exxon station where Brian used to
cashier
his money when they paid for the gas and the Slim Jims.
He said it was
a historic spot.
He said it was packed the next day, and really a bright young man and playing hard. I'll tell you, he took a wicked shot. He got cut. Didn't see it coming. Couldn't defend himself.
Edwards, look at his speed. Finally swung down inside the 35-yard line by Michael Ireland. And Edwards might be heading for an historic night. That's 37 more on the run for Edwards, who's at the end of his sophomore year and already the all-time leading rusher among quarterbacks here at Appalachian State.
You see that shot, there's a big hole. You don't see a blue helmet in sight. And there's only one question I have for you, Sean. Sean, where's the safety man? I don't see the safety man.
Frank Broyles, where is the safety man? He might be called upon to make another tackle. Richardson tackled by the linebacker Eric McBride, but that's about 9 more. Armonte Edwards has 177 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns on just 15 carries.
Just again, he is not getting touched until the second, in that case, the 3rd level.
Now the quick throw. Hans Badishon at the first down, and that's about it. That's just what he needed to get a fresh set of downs at the 23-yard line.
One of the impressive things I'm looking at this Appalachian State offense is that all their skilled players block for each other. Right there you saw Kevin Richardson take out Seth Williams, who was coming in for a kill shot of his own. But Kevin gave up his body enough to allow the receiver to get the first down.
Edwards again inside the 5. Seth Williams saved the touchdown. 19-yard gain. Well, Edwards already owns Appalachian State's single-game rushing record. He had 291 yards on November 3rd on the ground against the Citadel. That's also the Southern Conference record for a quarterback. He might get to that here in the first half.
Yeah, and there's an example right of the line clearing the hole. This is not only the spread option, but that was your old power O, with Edwards acting as a tailback with 2 blockers from the backside on the offensive line, leading up and clearing the path.
He has 196 yards rushing. And 2 more, 198. And he's bidding for his 4th rushing touchdown of the game. He already, prior to the end of his sophomore year, has nearly 6,500 yards now of total offense. And then he's thrown it. And he's hit on all but 1 of the 6 passes.
Well, he's the real deal, Sean. And we got a 1056, and he's close to 200 yards rushing. I'm just wondering what the FCS record is for rushing in 1 game.
Well, we will find out. Second and goal from the 3. There's touchdown number 4. And he is tough at 170 pounds, as the coach has told us. He took a pretty good pop right at the goal line and hardly flinched.
Well, he, at 175 pounds, he becomes the hitter as opposed to the hittee. McBride comes in there and tries to give him a shot. That's a linebacker. And really, Edwards just brushed him off.
Julian Roush, first team All-Southern Conference place kicker. Hard to find a weakness on this team. He rips one through. With a long way to go in the first half. Edwards has run for 3 touchdowns. And his team leads 35-14. 4 touchdowns, pardon me.
Presented on ESPN by Enterprise Rent-A-Car is brought to you by Pontiac. Vote now for the Pontiac game-changing performance of the year at ESPN.com. Keyword Pontiac. And Coca-Cola.
We're looking at a view from the top of Howard's Knob, overlooking Boone, North Carolina. And if that shot continues to push in, you'd be able to see Kip Brewer Stadium, named for a coach of Appalachian State back in the 1930s. Better known as The Rock to the locals. Well, their 30-game home winning streak ended here earlier this season by Georgia Southern. In all, they've won 34 out of 35, and they're looking good in this home game tonight. Trying to return to the national championship game for the 3rd year in a row and win it for the 3rd year in a row. They lead 35-14. Still 10:36 to go till halftime. And Roush's kickoff goes through the end zone. The rushing record for yards in a game in the formerly Division I AA playoffs, now known as the FCS subdivision, football championship subdivision. These are the Division I playoffs because they're the only playoffs at the Division I level. The record is 333 by Adrian Peterson of Georgia Southern against UMass in 1999. And we mentioned that the Appalachian State record is already owned by Armani Edwards. 291 earlier this year against the Citadel. And he was 200 right on the button and 4 touchdowns and 1 passing touchdown. Too late to fly him to New York for the
Yeah, exactly. But I'm looking over at the Spider defense on the bench right now. Every one of them's got their head down. Somebody needs to step up and be a leader and get those hit guys' heads up.
Screen is a good call, but Josh Vaughn couldn't see the ball coming. Anthony Williams putting heat on Eric Ward. And the pass fell incomplete. Well, of course, it was Appalachian State's win on September 1st in Michigan that changed the voting rules in the polls. The voters were allowed to vote for teams that were not at the top level of Division I football. They could vote for FCS teams. I really wish we could keep saying 1AA. To me, one of the silliest things that they've done in a long time is get away from 1A and 1AA.
You have no argument for me. And even the coaches can't keep it straight.
You talk to them, they don't know what FBS and FCS is. And the idea is to make it as easy as possible, you think, for the fans. And there was a panel, mixture of commissioners and presidents and athletic administrators and coaches who studied the name change. Vaughn, the ball carrier, and Jacques Roman, the tackler. But why do they still have Division II and Division III then? I mean, that indicates that they're inferior. If the problem was 1AA seemed inferior to 1A, what about 2 and 3?
Well, I'm sure they'll come up with a fancy acronym for those. Just give them time. They'll figure it out.
You know, the reality is, 1AA is a step down in terms of scholarship numbers. At this level, they have 63 scholarships to work with. At the top level, they have 85. These are typically smaller schools. And who cares if there's that kind of distinction? Apparently, enough people did, because they changed it to make life miserable for everybody else trying to keep track of what they're talking about. Scott Rydell the catch, 12-yard gain and a first down for Dave Clausen in Richmond.
Well, this is, again, this is where Richmond has to respond. They have to counterpunch every punch that they're taking. And offensively, I'll tell you the guy that I've been impressed with, Sean, is Eric Ward. He's shown great composure, and he's making every throw he needs to make. And he's doing it with Appalachian just pinning their ears back and coming.
We mentioned he was the offensive rookie of the year last year in the then Atlantic 10. Atlantic 10 became the Colonial this year. And Dave Clawson was very honest. He said, in all honesty, there just weren't really any good newcomers to vote for. He said he didn't have a very good year last year. Ward on target there to Joe Stewart, the tight end. But Coach Clawson said Eric's had a much better year this year. And Eric agreed when we visited him yesterday. He's been more accurate. He's a little bit bigger and stronger. And Ward said the key thing is experience. Just knowing what to expect, how to prepare, the speed of the game. He's a lot more comfortable in year 2 as the Richmond starting quarterback.
And no other position benefits from reps more than quarterback. Any other position in football, it doesn't matter. Reps is something you need to develop if you play the quarterback position.
Eric didn't seem like the kind of guy who was going to be rattled. When we talked with him yesterday, he described himself as very laid back, and we might not have been giving him enough credit on the laid backness scale. Josh Vaughn, the ball carrier. It was almost hard to hear Eric speak when we were visiting with him in the conference room yesterday. Very polite and well-spoken young man, but certainly not a quote machine.
No, and well, I like his poise. You don't see any panic or him trying to make a play that's not there to get his team back in the ball game. He's staying within Coach Clawson's offense and making good decisions. Frankly, he's throwing the deep ball very well tonight.
Their offense is moving the ball. Richmond has 176 yards of offense, but the defense has not done the job at all. There's a deep throw intended again for the tight end Joe Stewart, the junior, for Lewistown, Pennsylvania. Pierre Banks had the coverage. It'll be 3rd down and 3. 8 minutes to go till halftime. Appalachian State leading 35-14.
Every passing offense has a man beater and a zone beater. So you have to anticipate what Appalachian State is going to play here. Chances are they're going to play man. So you get your best man beater out there and you run it. And it's your athletes against their athletes. Right here, yep, they're in man. 8 guys in the box. Let's see what they have.
On 3rd and 3, Ward keeps and has the first down inside the 45-yard line of the Mountaineers.
Nice job. Nice job of motioning out Hightower and getting their best defender, their best run defender, DJ Smith, out of the box to run the draw. One way to remove a guy, motion your man out. He's got to follow his man, run opposite direction. Exactly what they did.
Nearly midway through the 2nd quarter. Richmond driving. In dire need of the score, down by 3 touchdowns. Josh Vaughn went in motion out of the backfield. Heavy rush. And it is caught over the middle. Jordan Mitchell, the first down near the 28-yard line. Jerome Touchstone made the tackle. And again, that poise you were talking about from Eric Ward. They got right in his face. He hung in there.
And again, waiting for the route to develop. They had 2 receivers close by on the opposite end of the field. They run a crossing route. The ball was thrown. A good job of adjusting on the football. And Josh Vaughn blocking downfield. Almost sprung that one for the distance.
High formation now. And they give it to their best offensive player, Hightower. He goes for a yard. Over 1,800 yards rushing this year for Hightower as a senior, more than his first 3 years combined. Dave Clawson said he picked up more speed one year to the next than any player he's ever been around. Tim told us yesterday they did a lot of yoga and Pilates, worked on lengthening his stride and increasing his stride frequency. Brandon Horgan, the strength coach, did a lot of great work with him. And here's the guy who is noticeably faster.
And goes from the 4.6 to high 4.5s down to the 4.4 level with his size. Definitely NFL scouts will look at him because of his ability to play on special teams and the experience of teams.
Into the Walter Camp All-American team today. Wobbly throw, almost intercepted. He's lucky Titus Howard didn't pick it off. It was intended for Joe Monteverdi, who plays a lot in Richmond's 2 tight end sets. Here's Rob Stone.
Well, Sean, you talked about the yoga and Pilates Hightower did in the summer. He also ran a lot of hurdles, which he says helped him open up his hip flexors, made him a little bit faster. He also plays meaner because of his time on special teams. He likes it, he told us, because he finally gets to deliver some hits, release those frustrations that he's been carrying over, that aggressive attitude. That's what he does when he runs the ball. And guys, he was telling us yesterday, he's been bugging coaches to do some more hitting as a linebacker.
Yeah, he said a couple of times he's tried to sneak onto the field to play defense. He is on their punt and kick coverage teams. Loves to run down and hit somebody. Ward avoided the blitz and throws. It was a touchdown if it was on target, but it was over the head of Kevin Grayson, who got behind Jerome Touchstone. And Ward knows he missed his third touchdown pass of the night to Grayson after he dodged the blitzing Corey Lynch.
You're going to see Ward here. Lynch has the shot. Ward, again, as we mentioned all night, showing great composure, awareness, and he knew he blew the opportunity right there. Grayson was behind Touchstone, which would have been a touchdown.
Well, they know they're in a shootout, so they're going to go for it on 4th down and 9 from the 28-yard line. Longest field goal for Andrew Howard is 41 yards, and field goals probably aren't going to do them much good tonight. Out of the shotgun, Ward down the seam, dropped. Not a great throw, would have been a tough catch by Joe Stewart. He got a hand on it, but couldn't corral it, and Richmond will turn it over on downs with 6 minutes to go till halftime.
Well, Appalachian goes with a 2-deep zone right here, Sean. They got 2 safeties back here, and this is the zone beater. You get inside into the seam. The linebacker does not get any depth, and it should be an easy throw. And again, Ward has an opportunity to put one on target. That's 2 in a row that he missed. Now, I think you can catch that football, but it could have been a better throw. But that's a cover 2 beater right there. Tight end down the seam. Linebacker sits short. Should have been an easy pitch and catch.
Here comes Appalachian State. Armani Edwards, the quarterback, dropped the snap and still made it about a 5-yard gain. Pierre Turner made the tackle, a sophomore from Lawrenceville, Georgia. 205 yards rushing now for Edwards on 19 carries. He has 4 rushing touchdowns and a passing score.
That's an amazing thing. I mean, he's dropping snaps. There's miscommunication on plays, and he's still getting 10, 6, 7, 8 yards, and that's a credit to the big fellas up front, rooting them out of there and moving the pile.
Rushing record for yards and a half at this level is in danger, perhaps. Juggling catch by Hans Badishon. He has the best Hans on the team. It's a gain of 13.
They are so in tune with what they're doing offensively, and the ball's being thrown before the receiver's out of the cut. That's when you know a team is comfortable in what they're doing, and you're seeing a balance of power, the likes which I haven't seen all year in all the games that we've done as far as run pass with such efficiency.
5 minutes to go till the half. Seconds away from a Sports Center 30 at 30 from Darinoka after this play, and it's a 1-yard gain for Kevin Richardson. Here's Dari.
All right, guys, time for a SportsCenter 30 at 30 update. Home run king Barry Bonds pled not guilty today in a San Francisco courtroom to charges of perjury and obstruction of justice. If the charges are eventually sustained, Bonds could spend up to 2.5 years in jail. Saints running back Reggie Bush could miss the rest of the season. He will most likely miss Monday night's game at least against the Falcons with a partially torn left knee ligament. SportsCenter on after this game. Stay current with ESPN News, guys.
Just another happy news day in the world of sports. Edwards throws, Badishon the catch. McBride knocked him out of bounds. An 8-yard gain on the completion of Badishon, a native of Haiti. Endured rough circumstances with his family there. They moved to Miami when Hans was a young boy. Married, the only married player on the team, to Claudia. They've known each other since they're in the 8th grade. They have a daughter, Jada, born in January. 3rd down and 1 at the Richmond 45-yard line. 35 points in the half and looking for more. Appalachian State. The pitch So Tavares Washington, and he couldn't get away from Eric McBride, the outstanding redshirt freshman, newcomer of the year on defense in the Colonial, and second-team all-conference player.
I like the call. I mean, you've had 4 touchdowns off that same play. This time, Eric McBride was able to do what he wasn't able to do earlier, make a tackle in space.
Russ Huseman singing the praises of McBride earlier this week, said he can cover, he can blitz, he gets off blocks. They're going to go for it here on 4th down and 1. 13 out of 24 this year on 4th down. That's 54%. And I don't think they got it. Ryan DeMoss stopped Richardson short. And Richmond, with some fans here tonight, takes over on downs after this. Ryan DeMoss, the stop on 4th down. Richmond takes over on downs. 3:22 to go till halftime. The Spiders down 35-14. Sean McDonough with Chris Spielman. And the omnipresent Rob Stone right down there in the, I think he just knows where the shot's going to be on the sideline. Gets a little background airtime because he doesn't get enough on our bowling coverage and darts and all the other sports in which he enhances our coverage. Of course, soccer. Hightower runs for 8, and we talked about Hightower's Pilates and yoga. But a lot of his great footwork comes from soccer. He's been playing soccer since he was about 6 years old. Said his dad, Lewis, a former boxer in the Marines, didn't want him to play football, thought it was too rough. But other parents said, hey, your son's so big, he's bigger than the other kids, why don't you let him play football? Tim said, I played in the 4th grade, I got smacked, my dad didn't like it, he said no more football, I had to beg him to let me keep playing. But Hightower wears soccer shoes during his football games.
Yeah, it makes his feet feel lighter. A former boxer Marine saying he doesn't want his son to play football. That doesn't sound right.
And he appears to have a 1st down on back-to-back carries. Here's Stoner.
All right, here's the normal football cleat. It's like a heavy clog compared to the sleek soccer boots that me and my friends enjoy. Much lighter shoe. He's been wearing this for years and years, and you know, every athlete's trying to get that little advantage, so he feels a little bit lighter on his feet. It also helps guys because he's the 3rd string kicker, so he's ready to kick him if he needs to. How convenient.
Just as he comes out before some of the home games, he can kick about a 48-yarder, but he knows he's not going to get a chance.
No.
But he wants to do it all. He plays on the kick coverage. He wants to play defense. He wants to be the kicker. Daniel Finnerty knocked down that pass.
Well, his value as an NFL prospect certainly has risen this year. One, why? Because he has played on the special teams, covered kickoffs, plays the wing on the punt. 31 receptions out of the backfield. Plus, he has played tailback. And if you sit there and talk to him, he'll do whatever he needs to do for the team. That's been proven at Richmond. And if he gets a shot, I'm sure he'll prove it at the next level.
Very nice young man. Religion studies major, will graduate in May. One of the outstanding academic institutions in the country. University of Richmond. They don't get many walk-ons there. It costs $46,000 a year to pay your own way. Only guys like Dari Noka can afford that. Let's get another update from Dari.
Oh, yes, guys, absolutely. Coming up, guys, at the half, we'll be joined by Ed Cunningham. Break down the Heisman Trophy race going into tomorrow night's presentation. Also, Ed going to tell us who he would hire if he was in charge of finding a head coach at Michigan and UCLA. Also, we'll recap Barry Bonds' day in court. Until then, I'll try to understand what you just said, Sean.
It's very simple. The studio guys make a lot of money back there at ESPN. 3rd down and 2. Richmond, 37-yard line, down 35-14. A minute and a half to go till halftime, and a sack for Daniel Finnerty, the 1st sack of the night for Appalachian State. Just their 25th of the year. They're not a big sack team.
Well, with the lack of depth at wide receiver, you have Justin Rogers sitting in there, and Justin Rogers is sitting and ran the wrong route because Joe Stewart's coming across the field. You have 2 against 1, and then you have pressure and mad dogs like this running to the football. You got to make a decision to get rid of it, or eventually the big fellas will get there.
We're going for it on 4th and 2 on the last possession. Richmond did not convert on 4th and 9 from the Appalachian State 28-yard line. Hightower converts this time. First down inside the 32. Tim's been bothered by a stretched knee ligament over the last 4 games. Finished 7th in the voting for the Walter Payton Award as the best offensive player in Division I AA football. The artist formerly known as Division I AA. They spike it with only 1 timeout left. 36 seconds to go in the half. Just a chance to remind you the NCAA Division I football championship concludes on ESPN 2 HD. We'll have it for you next Friday night, December 14th from Chattanooga. Our game coverage begins at 8 o'clock. For a preview of every NCAA national championship, including the 2007 NCAA football Division I championship, go to ncaasports.com, the official online home for all 88 NCAA championships. Ward out of the shotgun, throws, and it is incomplete. Or is it? It was intended for Max Prokel. It was incomplete. He's a defensive back, and due to the lack of depth at wide receiver that Chris talked about, he's out there running pass routes.
This is a nice ball thrown by Ward in between the corner and safety. Shea and Howard. Go up and catch it with your hands as opposed to body catching. You'll have a better shot of snagging it.
Well, it's the old cliche, but it seems to be true in the case of Max. That's why he's a defensive back.
There you go. But Ward again continues to impress.
Well, Richmond's ahead of schedule with their success this year with a very young football team. 17 freshmen or sophomore starters, including Ward and the receiver Grayson, who has caught the 2 touchdown passes.
Ball start from 82 on the offense. 5-yard play remains. 3rd down.
When we talk about what a good school Richmond is, outstanding academically, but Dave Clausen fits right in. He went to Williams College in Massachusetts, an outstanding school, played for legendary coach Dick Farley. So he didn't know he wanted to coach, but when he watched Dick Farley, who's now in the College Football Hall of Fame coach, he felt like that's what he wanted to do. He was a political economy graduate. He said, I thought I was going to law school or Wall Street, but Coach Farley convinced me I wanted to be a coach. And he is an excellent coach. 3rd down 15. Ward will run. Will run for a 1st down. Will run for a touchdown for Richmond, and they're right back in the game.
Eric Ward says, Armani, I know you can run, but watch what I can do. And again, did not panic, Sean. Saw the coverage. Disappeared down in the field. Safeties were occupied. Corners were up. And when you have speed and athletic ability, and you can go 35 yards without getting touched, you'll make something happen.
Extra point good. Both quarterbacks have been outstanding here in the first half. The Spider faithful happy. Their team down by 2 touchdowns as we approach the half. We're back in Boone, North Carolina, named for Daniel Boone, towering proudly over the back-to-back national championship trophies. First 2 national championships won in a sport at Appalachian State. Trying to make it 3 in a row. Win tonight would get them into the championship game next Friday night against either Delaware or Southern Illinois.
That didn't look like Fess, Parker.
Only Howard kicks off this time. Ordinarily the punter kicks off, but they wanted to go to a sky kick, and Chase Laws made a fair catch. Let's see what Jerry Moore wants to do. With 21 seconds to go and 2 timeouts. His team leading 35-21. The other semifinal is tomorrow, 4 o'clock Eastern time on ESPN. Originally, Delaware and Southern Illinois were going to play tonight, and these 2 teams are going to play tomorrow, but Delaware, after upsetting the #1 team in the country, Northern Iowa, in Iowa last week, and had a tough time getting out of Iowa because of bad weather. So they asked, did they not have the short week, since it was already a difficult week with the travel problems? The NCAA flipped the games.
I look at that game in Southern Illinois, just a fine tradition right there. And Delaware, obviously their tradition, putting out championship caliber teams.
They take a knee. They even do that out of the shotgun. And it is halftime. Here's Rob Stone with Dave Clawson.
Well, Coach, how will that last improvised touchdown run affect your play calling in the second half?
Hey, we're back in the game now. We wanted to get to a 2-score game by the half, and now we start the second half with the football, and we're going to try to make it a 1-score game.
How do you slow down Armani Edwards?
Oh, he's a great player. We just got to do a better job of wrapping up and tackling him, and I think we're doing a good job of getting off of blocks, but once we get there, we just got to get him down.
Anything scheme-wise you can do?
Well, we're going to go in there and talk about that now.
All right, Coach, appreciate your time.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Rob, thank you. At the half, Appalachian State 35 and Richmond 21. Time now to join Dari Noka with the halftime report.
All right, guys, thank you. Joining me, Ed Cunningham, of course. And look, a big touchdown. We would assume for Richmond, 3 touchdowns is not as good as being just 2 touchdowns down. How does that change things here?
Unbelievably. You just heard Coach talking about how he had to be able to do that. And I think that without that, this thing may have started to get out of the way. Big deal now. Richmond gets the ball to start the second half.
All right. Armani Edwards, by the way, over 200 rushing yards. You may not have seen him yet this year. Maybe you have, but what do you think?
Well, saw him in the big house, and I think the Michigan fans know all about it. And talking about wrapping him up, and you got to get to him first. We'll take a look at some of the highlights. 204 rushing yards in the first half, 4 touchdowns. And, you know, he was a little efficient passing. He was 7 of 8. But right now, Appalachian State not having to throw the ball very much. For Richmond, again, talking about wrapping up, they're not even in position. I think that Richmond should consider some blitzes on run downs. I just don't know what they can do. Luckily for Richmond, Eric Ward started to play really well there in the second quarter. 62.5% passer on the season, so he can throw it. They may need that. Get Hightower, the running back, involved, though, because you just don't want Armani Edwards to be on the field too.
Yeah, I think Michigan fans certainly remember 3 passing touchdowns and a running touchdown on the win at the Big House. All right, still ahead on this college football halftime report. Tim Tebow, one of 2 favorites to win the Heisman Trophy tomorrow. But with all that he's accomplished, there may be one major factor that keeps him from winning. I'll tell you what that is coming up.
Welcome back to ESPN's College Football Prime Time. Tonight's broadcast is brought to you in high definition and presented by Pioneer Kuro HD TV. Standing room only and then some here at The Rock in Boone, North Carolina, getting ready for the start of the second half. Our coverage presented by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Armani Edwards with a tremendous first half. 4 rushing touchdowns on 19 carries. He ran for 204 yards.
Well, just an amazing effort, and we were talking during the break about his power, his burst, and when he hits a hole, he has an extra gear. The obvious adjustment for Richmond, tackle better and get off blocks.
The Home Depot coaching adjustment brought to you by Chris Spielman here at the half. You know, they need to make some adjustments. Dave Clawson told Rob Stone on the way off the field he feels like they're getting off blocks. They need to actually tackle them. He feels they're in position. They just haven't tackled.
Well, that's the adjustment on defense. The adjustment on offense is they got to keep taking their shots down the field. Why? Appalachian State defensive backs are challenging their receivers one-on-one. They've been successful. Right here on the sluggo route, slant and go. He throws them open, and you see the conversion for the touchdown. An opportunity blown. Again, avoiding the pressure, beating coverage one-on-one. You just got to deliver the mail when the mail needs to be delivered. But keep taking your shots downfield because there are big plays out there to be had.
Yeah, they're a run-first, pass-second offense, but Richmond actually threw for 152 yards in the first half. That's only 15 under their season average per game. They rushed for 104 yards. And their season average is 238 per game. They have been behind throughout, forced to lean more heavily on the pass. Here's Justin Rogers returning the Julian Roush kickoff, and excellent coverage this time. Cam Spear, the linebacker, and special teams standout after a 17-yard gain by Rogers. He made the tackle. So here comes Eric Ward, 9 out of 18 in the first half for the aforementioned 152 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also ran for a 37-yard touchdown. That's longer than any pass play Richmond has had this year. Their long pass of the year is just 35 yards.
And again, I look for him, if it's not there, to use his feet, because they are in man coverage. And when man coverage, the defender's backs are turned, he can pick up valuable yards with the legs.
Tim Hightower, the back. They faked it to him, and then Edwards forced to throw it away. Gary Farrington was right in his face. The Ward alertly got rid of it quickly. Let's look at some more first half statistics. 348 yards of offense for Appalachian State in the first half. They've set the school record for total offense this year, averaging 473 per game. They're going to be well over that unless Richmond makes some of those Home Depot adjustments.
Appalachian State did a good job of protecting the football and creating a turnover on the defensive side.
And Hightower's rush for over 1,800 yards this year, had just 33 in the first half. He's out to the 49-yard line here. Run down by Titus Howard. 25 yards on the run for Hightower. His long run in the first half was just 8 yards.
Well, this is the big fella right here, showing the vision. Shoulders are square, the line of scrimmage. His eyes are square. That means he can make the cut. He hits the cut, and you see the burst in the 4.4 right here. He's getting it going. And believe me, when he has that kind of speed, you do not want to run into the load that Hightower brings.
And you see there in that little shift, we talked about the yoga, the Pilates, the hurdle jumping, the flexibility in the hips. Not only is he faster, but he has better maneuverability when he hits the holes. And he also thinks, because he's more experienced as a senior, he just knows the offense better. He sees those holes better as well. So it's not just the increased speed and maneuverability. The experience has helped him have his best year by far as a senior.
Well, I think we talked about the reps, how important it is for a quarterback. Well, the same thing goes for a running back. Your vision improves with reps. And maybe a little bit has to do with the soccer boots, as they're, I guess, appropriately called in the soccer world.
Is that really what they're called? The soccer what? Boots?
Boots? That's what Rob told me anyway.
2nd and 8. And Ward zips one to Grayson. 35-yard line, first down. Justin Wose made the tackle. You heard Dave Clausen. It was obvious as he was running off at the half. He was pointing to this first possession of the second half as being big, and his team is coming out determined to make it a one-score game.
And he had a little bit of a glimmer in his eye, too. Just something that he knew that he can go in and adjust, especially on the offensive side of the ball, which he has done thus far. Now the question becomes, what adjustments have they made on defense to slow down the Appalachian State offense?
The offense wasn't a problem in the first half. 256 yards of offense. And the deep handoff, Hightower, big holes, first down inside the 20. And he lowered his shoulder and ran over Titus Howard. That secondary's been delivering some big hits to the Spiders. Hightower just hit him back. 19 yards, first down.
Now, even though they're not completing every pass when they throw the ball on first down, what it does do is make aware of the fact that they can throw the football. Jared Decker in there leading away from the backside, pulling up, and you see the burst of Hightower showing his newfound speed.
With 33 yards rushing in the first half, he's at 45 yards on this drive, averaging 141 yards per game rushing, 6th in the nation at this level. It's a yard or two there, that's all. Howard up as the nickel back to make the tackle. Dave Clausen was impressed as he watched the Appalachian State film on Titus Howard. Said he's great in run support. We have to account for number 36 when we're running the ball.
Well, they're getting a whole lot of look at Titus Howard up there, basically playing the extra linebacker because of the confidence of John Wiley playing man-to-man on the corners outside. They're playing man-to-man right here on the outside receivers because the corners are lined up over there.
Ward rolls out with a lot of time, throws back, touchdown Richmond. They're within one score. Joe Stewart was wide open, a beautifully designed and executed play.
Shawnee, we talked about it, man. Man-to-man, you have your man beaters and you have your zone beaters. Well, right here, you're going to see Stewart from the tight end position kind of sneak out. They'll hit the play action, and Stewart's going to run a little in and out and beats Corey Lynch, who's in man-to-man coverage, but he takes his eye off the man. That's a faux ball, a no-go. You never do that. You play your man until the ball's thrown.
Howard adds the extra point. It was 35-14. It's now 35-28 with all kinds of time remaining. 11:57 left in the third quarter here in Boone. It's about a 7-hour drive from Richmond. A lot of fans here to watch this game. Tonight's telecast presented on ESPN by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Some of them probably rented an Enterprise car to make the 7-hour drive. The team chartered down here into Johnson City across the border in Tennessee. 1 hour's drive from Boone. Joe Stewart, the touchdown reception to get them back within one score. Eric Ward, the touchdown throw. Stewart's out of Lewistown, Pennsylvania. He was a basketball star in high school, scored over 1,500 points, and was a finalist for Mr. Basketball in Pennsylvania. Ryan Radford kicks off. Coco Hillary from the 5. And it looked like they ripped the ball right away from him. And they did. It was taken away by Josh Vaughn.
That's well-coached football right there. Josh Vaughn comes in and not only secures the tackle, but you see the ball loose because I see space between the body and the arm. And look at Josh Vaughn. Rip it out of there. Give me that ball. That's mine. And he takes it, and Richmond coming out with passion. A contributor on the offense, Josh Vaughn, also contributing big on special teams.
Well, that's one way to stop the Appalachian State offense. Don't let them on the field. Vaughn took it away. And you can feel the uneasiness in the sellout crowd here at Kid Brewer Stadium. 29-yard line. First and 10 Richmond. They've had no problems moving the ball tonight. Hightower, he was the key to the touchdown drive on the first possession of this half. And he gets 5 to the 24-yard line. Anthony Williams made the tackle with help from DJ Smith. It has been a prolific offense this year for Richmond. Started the night with 5,287 yards of offense. That is a single season school record. Averaging 35 points per game. We've had the top 2 total offense games in school history this year. More than 600 yards each against Northeastern and Bucknell. Play action fake by Eric Ward. He's hurt them with the run. He hurts them again. First down inside the 10. Protects the ball at the 8. First and goal, Richmond. As they look to tie this game, it looked like they were dead and buried in the first half, down by 21 points.
Well, what Appalachian State was able to do in the first half is get pressure right there as there's no pressure. But again, you're playing man-to-man defense. Backs are turned, and nobody has recognition of the run until he breaks the line of scrimmage 7 yards past the line of scrimmage, and he's off to the races.
Vaughn ripped it away on the kickoff return. Now the offense trying to capitalize. First and goal. Ball marked at the 9. Hightower, no running room there. Loss of a yard. It is an Appalachian State defense that really hasn't been tremendous this year. Yeah, they are just 67th in the country out of 116 FCS schools in total defense. 60th in scoring defense, giving up 26.5 per game. They've generally outscored their opponents this year.
Yeah, and they've given up a lot of yards on the ground, and you can see the offensive line for the Spiders just getting energized, Sean, by the success that they're having on the ground.
It's a young but big offensive line, averaging about 288 pounds. That's big at this level. They do have a size advantage up front. Ward, a quick throw to Grayson, breaks a tackle, goes down to the 4. Jock Roman made the tackle for Appalachian State. Under 10 minutes to go, third quarter. Richmond looking for the tying touchdown. John Wiley, the defensive coordinator, in his 17th season on the staff with Coach Moore. Left for 2 years to join Hal Mumme at Iowa Wesleyan and Valdosta State, then came back and has not left. An Appalachian State family. His wife is a former cheerleader here in a national championship cheerleading squad. Third down and goal. Ward couldn't find anybody. Ward looking to run for it. Ward lunges. Touchdown.
Again, the patience, the knowledge. Nobody open. I'll take care of business myself. And you see his teammates, his buddies, giving up their bodies downfield, getting 2 blocks, and with one guy. And Ward, a wherewithal and a want-to get in the end zone.
Was it silly to say the quarterback who rushed for 204 yards and 4 touchdowns and threw for a touchdown pass all in the first half might not be the best quarterback on the field tonight? The extra point good by Howard. Eric Ward having a remarkable night. He's thrown for 189 and 3 touchdowns. He's rushed for 80 and 2 touchdowns. Appalachian State hasn't had the ball in this half. Richmond's had it twice. They've scored 2 touchdowns. They've come all the way back from 21 down to tie it at 35 with 9 minutes to go in the third.
Well, a couple things, Sean, with that. Dave Clawson right now is proving what a coach he is. A lot of times coaches are measured and judged by the halftime adjustments that they've made. Well, he's made great adjustments. Why? Because of the production that they're getting on the field. And the other thing, I don't care what level it is, from little league to junior high, high school, whatever division you want to talk about, up to the NFL. If you have the trigger man, you got a shot. And both these teams have the trigger man.
Yeah, almost identical performances now. Both quarterbacks doing it, running and throwing. You talk about Coach Clawson, the adjustments. You point out the gleam in his eye at halftime. Even though his team was down by 2 touchdowns, you could see the belief, and obviously that carried over to his team in the locker room. He's only 40 years old. He's never coached anywhere at a 1A school. He's always been an assistant or a head coach at this level. But I am really impressed watching him coach for the first time.
Yeah, and he's impressing. Plus, he's grooming those quarterbacks, and you're seeing what Ward is giving them tonight with the experience and reps that he gathered throughout the season.
Coco Hillary held on to the ball this time, tackled at the 30. And what a remarkable head coaching resume already. Even though he's 40 years old, 9 years of head coach. He went to Fordham. When he got there, they'd had 12 straight losing seasons. After he'd been an assistant at Albany, Buffalo, Lehigh, and Villanova. At Villanova, he coached Brian Westbrook and Brian Finneran. He modestly said it's easy to look good as the offensive coordinator when you coach guys like that. But he goes to Fordham, 12 straight losing seasons he inherits. He goes 0-11 in his first year ever as a head coach. His last 3 years there, they had the 14th best winning percentage in the country. Better than the Richmond job, and they've had 3 straight winning seasons for the first time since the 1950s under Dave Clawson. Coco Hillary the catch. We talked to some Richmond athletic department people last night. They said, we love our coach. Please don't say a lot of nice things about him. We don't want other schools to know about him. But with all these jobs open right now, you know, this is the kind of quality young guy who undoubtedly is going to start to get a lot of attention.
Well, and I would look at it, if I'm an institution, Like this one right here. And I have high academic standards, and I see the type of player he recruits at this level with high academic standards. Maybe he's the guy that can recruit at that level with high academic standards and get the players.
And these Richmond defenders now, their first shot of this half, they're fired up. Kylan McConaughey made the tackle. Collins, a sophomore. Russ Huseman said he was impressed by Dave Clawson coaching against them. They didn't really know each other, but Russ was coaching the defense at William and Mary. Clawson the offense at Villanova, and Russ Huseman said, I was just so impressed by what they did on offense. When he had a chance to work for Dave Clawson, he jumped at it.
Well, and you can see why in adjustments that they've made. Right now, they're not honoring any fakes, and they're running right to Armani Edwards on the option.
Third down and 9. He pulls it down and runs, and he does it again. First down and much more. All the way inside the 25. Well, Russ Huseman said when we have a chance to tackle Armani Edwards, we must do it. They had the chance and did not do it, and he ran for 44.
Right here, you're going to see the breakdown. The hole is going to open up to that side of the field. And Armani wants to throw the ball, nothing there. But again, when you have your corner and Tyler Sullivan jump inside and lose contain, Armani will exploit that in a heartbeat.
Tavares Washington flags down. He has a first down inside the 15-yard line, but there are flags. The Spiders indicating it's against Appalachian State. In a relatively penalty-free game.
Holding, number 72 on the offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Jonathan Bishke, the right tackle, junior from Port St. Lucie, Florida. It's just the fourth penalty against ASU, and Richmond's been penalized twice. When you're a good team, generally you avoid the penalties, and these are two very good teams.
I was just going to, you make a great point. I mean, you'd see two well-coached teams that are playing within the rules and don't have to try to get away with secret little stuff to get an advantage.
7 minutes to go, third quarter. A dandy in his first national semifinal. Edwards, a deep drop, now throws on the run. Caught, Badishon, first down. Down to the 13-yard line, a 19-yard completion to Hans Badishon. Scott Satterfield, the quarterback coach, said he's our go-to guy, and they went to him in a big spot.
Well, right here, this tells me something about Armani Edwards. First of all, a running quarterback, you think his eyes are going to look downfield to run. No, Armani keeps his composure, his poise, and keeps his eyes downfield, trusting his receivers like Badishon to work their way open while he's in scramble drill. And again, on time and on target.
Edwards played in this type of offense in high school, but as a junior, he's a wide receiver. Down at the 6-yard line goes Edwards. And Appalachian State trying to end Richmond's momentum. 21 unanswered points by the Spiders. First possession of this third quarter for Appalachian State, and Armani Edwards, the huge third down conversion on the run. He's already set the playoff record for rushing yards with his 253 in this game. Their single game record in any game is 291, which he set earlier this year against the Citadel. He's going to smash that tonight the way he's going. Looking for another touchdown. He gets a yard and that's it. Did not get the first down. Tyler Sullivan stopped him.
Tyler Sullivan coming up from his linebacker. Also Abramowitz from defensive end. Staying at home and being disciplined. And what they're really doing is they're disregarding any ball fakes done by the Appalachian State offense. And you just got a bunch of Spider helmets running right to Armani Edwards. And that's a pretty darn good plan, if you ask me.
You look at those Spider helmets, too. Spoke with some of the Richmond folks last night. Doesn't really help them in the marketing and merchandising. Yeah. A lot of people don't want to buy stuff with a spider on it.
Well, Spider-Man sells well. You figure Spider helmets would sell?
They'll keep winning. They'll keep selling. Edwards again. Appears to have the first down. Inside the 3. Tyler Sullivan in on the tackle. Adam Abramowitz came away with the ball, but it was well after the tackle. Adam's dad, Sid, played offensive line in the NFL. Adam says his dad taught him a lot of the tricks the linemen try to use to hold the defensive lineman. First and goal, Appalachian State.
You see Armani Edwards, and now we keep talking about it, this, that, whatever. But the thing I love about him, he knew what he had to get the first down. Sean, he went in, delivered the blow, and it took 6 Richmond Spider defenders to bring him down. Will not be denied.
24 carries, 258 yards, 4 touchdowns. Now it's Richardson to the 1, touchdown. Bounced off the hip from Michael Ireland, and Appalachian State reclaims the lead.
Champions respond with the ankle injury. Richardson said, now I've become a downhill runner, a downhill demon, a straight ahead Ed. And right there, he showed his power by delivering a blow on Ireland and getting into the promised land.
His 65th career rushing touchdown, adding to his Appalachian State record. Julian Roush adds the extra point. Well, Richmond can score, but they still haven't demonstrated they can stop the Mountaineers.
The NCAA Division I Football Championship, presented on ESPN by Enterprise Rent-A-Car, is brought to you by Navigon, the only GPS device with reality view.
Well, we're back in the heart of the high country of North Carolina, northwestern part of the state. Boone, named for Daniel Boone. Daniel looks concerned. We're cold. It's in the high 20s right now. What a pleasant night. No wind to speak of. And what a game this has turned out to be. Appalachian State led by 21. Richmond rallied to tie it at 35 here in the third quarter. But the Mountaineers have just scored again and lead 42-35 as Julian Roush tees it up to kick off with 4:41 left in the third quarter. Sean McDonough, Chris Spielman, and Rob Stone, delighted to have you with us for this NCAA Division I National Semifinal. The other game tomorrow, Delaware at Southern Illinois. The winners will play next Friday night in Chattanooga, Tennessee for the national championship. Kickoff down to Justin Rogers. And he stopped near the 25-yard line. Well, earlier this evening, we spoke with one of the 4 finalists who's made the trip to New York for the Heisman Trophy presentation tomorrow night at 8 o'clock on ESPN. We spoke with Tim Tebow. He was on a bus on a tour of New York City with the other Heisman finalists. Colt Brennan, the great quarterback from Hawaii, joins us now. And Colt, I understand you guys are still on the bus.
Yeah, we're still taking the tour right now. We just got to our last destination, Ground Zero of the World Trade Centers, and this will be the last stop of the tour.
Is this your first time to New York?
This is actually my second time to New York. I came once when I was about 13 years old, and this is my second time coming back.
Colt Brennan's a Californian. Of course, disappointed not to make the trip to New York City last year. Ward runs for about 4. Colt Brennan had 58 touchdown passes last year, but 6th in the Heisman balloting. Did not make the trip to New York, so I'm sure you're very happy to be there, Colt. How do you size up your chances of coming home with the trophy tomorrow night?
Well, I mean, I'm absolutely thrilled to be here. You know, it's been a great year for not only me but my team, and obviously going undefeated and making it to a BCS bowl game. You know, I really don't know what my chances are for tomorrow night. You know, considering how the college football award show went last night, you know, it's kind of hard to win a Heisman if you can't win best quarterback or best player in America. So I would assume it's probably going to go somewhere else, which I'm fine with. It's all good, and I'm just really happy to be here. It's been a great run for me, and you know, I'm really excited about my bowl game and ending my senior year on a good note.
Well, Colts put up almost 4,200 yards passing and the 38 touchdowns, despite missing a couple of games this year due to injury. And we're looking at highlights, Colt, as you ride the bus. You guys had some dramatic comebacks along the way to protect the undefeated season. I know you knew all year long you needed to be undefeated if you're going to get a chance to play in a BCS bowl game. You will. What has been the highlight or the thing that sticks out the most about the season your team's had this year?
Well, I mean, the way I look at it is, the way we ended our season. We had a lot of tough games in the middle of the season, but, there was no doubt the two biggest games of the season were at the end of the year, and I think that's when we kind of showed up and played some of our best football. And I think it says a lot about our team and the character of this team and, how far we've come as a program. And it's just really exciting right now for us. And we're so thrilled to be in the Sugar Bowl and playing Georgia.
A rare 3-and-out here for Richmond. They'll have to punt with 3 minutes to go in the third quarter.
Hey, Colt, when you look at your upcoming opponent, Georgia, what's the team's confidence going up against the Southeast Conference team like Georgia in a BCS game? Is it the same as it's always been?
Well, I think that we definitely have the same approach as always. I think we're just really excited for the opportunity. And, we're just thrilled, though, because, all we've heard about this year is, our schedule and how we haven't really played anybody. And, if you followed us last year, we played Oregon State, Purdue, Alabama, Arizona State, BCS, Boise State. This year we tried to play everyone. Michigan State paid us $280,000 not to play them. Michigan wouldn't play us. We tried to get a Pac-10 team. They wouldn't play us. So, this is what we were dealt with, and all we could do is go out and beat the teams that were in front of us, and that's exactly what we did this year. And, but that said, it's been a great year and a great run, and that's why this game is so important to us, because it's finally an opponent that, has a lot of credibility, and we can go out there and maybe gain some respect.
After the fair catch by Dexter Jackson, Armani Edwards comes out throwing, and he's on target to Hans Badishon for a first down. Appalachian State trying to get control of this game again after Richmond rallied from 21 points down. We're visiting with Colt Brennan in New York City on a tour of New York as we speak. Colt, we're watching the Division I FCS playoffs, if you will, formerly Division I AA, 16 teams. I've always felt this is what should happen at the top level of college football, and I think were Hawaii one of the 16 teams in a playoff at the highest level, you'd be a team nobody wants to play. As a player, would you like to be in a national playoff like they have at this level, or are you content and satisfied with being a part of the bowl system?
Well, I think we're definitely satisfied with everything how it worked out this year, but there's no doubt that if there was a playoff system, that's something that we'd really be excited about. Considering we're the only undefeated team right now in all of college football, and we're not even allowed to really go to compete for a national championship. It is what it is, but it's too bad. And a playoff would definitely give us that opportunity. We're definitely thrilled about how things worked out, but, it seems like a small playoff might be the best thing for college football.
We're speaking with Colt Brennan, and as Colt was chatting, the officials are reviewing. It certainly looks like a catch here by Hans Badishon. The ball never hit the ground.
Colt, when you look at what a Heisman Trophy would mean to Hawaii or BCS victory, Sean and I were down there. We've done 3 of your games. Can you express to those that don't understand the passion for football on the island like you guys have it? Can you tell them what it means to not only your teammates, but to the people of Hawaii?
Well, there's no doubt.
Evidence confirms the call on the field. Completed pass. First down.
Well, Colt, you're very polite to wait for the. That's pretty good. When you're on a bus and you still pause to let the referee speak. Go ahead, buddy.
Well, there's no doubt. To be honest with you, I just lost my question, my place.
Well, how much would a Heisman Trophy mean to you, the program, really the state of Hawaii?
Being in the Pacific where we are, we're kind of isolated from everywhere. And, it's one thing to play for the University of Hawaii, but it's one thing to represent the state of the University of Hawaii. And, that's exactly what we've done this year is we've done a great job of representing the community and the state. And they felt a part of this run that this team has had. It's not just our football team that's experiencing this or having, a good time this year. The whole state is thrilled, and it's ecstatic right now. And I think that, given the opportunity to bring back a great honor like that would do so much for the school and so much for us down the road. And like I said, we're trying to get Hawaii on the map and in the national spotlight for years to come. And we don't want this to be a one-year fluke. We want it to be for years to come. And, just being out here is a great step. And, winning it would be an even unbelievable step that would just catapult us right to the top.
Well, Colt, it didn't sound like you were very optimistic earlier about your chances tomorrow. The throw incomplete for Badishon. And we asked Tim Tebow the same question earlier. If he couldn't vote for himself, who would he vote for? Who would you vote for, and or who do you think is going to win tomorrow night?
Boy, I mean, just considering how the college football awards went, I think the guy who's going to win it tomorrow is probably Tim Tebow. I mean, you know, he won the best player in football, and he also won the best quarterback in football. And, you know, I mean, he's definitely deserving so. He's had a great year this year. You know, I think Chase has had a great year, and I think McFadden's probably one of the most exciting football players in all of college football. So it's a toss-up. But I would just think that the way that the awards went last night, I think Tim Tebow's got this one.
Well, Colt, we congratulate you on a great year, both personally and a historic year for your school. It's really been a pleasure watching you play in person this year and visiting with you. We thank you for the visit tonight, your class act, and good luck tomorrow night and as you move on to the bowl and into pro football. Thanks so much.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. And we definitely appreciate all the support you guys have given us this year.
Well, it's been our pleasure. I think we are two guys, Chris, who have believed all along as we watched Hawaii play in person. They're legitimate top 20 in the team nation. They deserve that spot in the BCS bowl game. And people who say, you know, Colt Brennan's a system quarterback, that's a bunch of junk. He's going to be an NFL quarterback, start for a long time in the league, and be very successful.
Well, I think he's got a tremendous, he's 6'3" with a quick release and a good football mind. And on College Football Live, we talked about this. I thought Hawaii had a shot at the BCS title. They've had some close games, but I'll tell you, they hung in there. And they do. They play for the whole state of Hawaii. They play for the Polynesian people. It's a fun team to watch if you haven't seen them play yet. And they're passionate, and they have a great coach in June Jones, who not only does a good job of coaching that team, but leading that team is a strength of his also.
Big third down here for Appalachian State. Third down and 14, under a minute to go, third quarter. After Richmond rallied from 35-14 to tie, Appalachian State scored in its last possession. Can Richmond finally get a big stop on the last Appalachian State drive? They converted 3rd and 9 on an Edwards run. He won't get there this time. They finally tackle him in space. Excellent tackle by Derek Hatcher, the sophomore from St. Petersburg, Florida, the son of the former outstanding Major League Baseball player Billy Hatcher, now a coach with the Cincinnati Reds, who's here tonight to cheer on his son Derek.
Tackling in space, Sean, that's one of the adjustments that they had to make, and they executed it well with Hatcher making a play.
The punt by Neil Young, and it's Derek Hatcher back to return the punt. Derek is one of the best return men at this level of college football. Brought one back 66 yards for a touchdown against Stony Brook. There's Billy Hatcher, one of the really good guys in Major League Baseball. Fine player. Clutch player in the postseason, and will stay with Dusty Baker on the new staff at Cincinnati. We talked to Russ Huseman, the defensive coordinator. He said, I was so excited when Derek came on his visit because Billy came. I'm a huge Reds fan. I got to talk Reds baseball with Billy Hatcher.
When you tell me what a great player Billy Hatcher was, you actually called a game when he stole home base.
Played for the Red Sox and stole home in a game at Fenway Park. Just a terrific guy. He's very proud of his son. Had a chance to visit with Billy before the game tonight. Quick slant, incomplete, and almost intercepted. Ball that should have been caught by Jordan Mitchell. And it'll be the final play of the third quarter. All in all, a good quarter for Richmond. They were down by 2 scores at the break. They're down by 1 as we head to the fourth quarter. We head to the fourth quarter here in Boone, North Carolina. The winner advances to the national championship game on ESPN next Friday night at 8 o'clock from Chattanooga, Tennessee. Appalachian State, 2-time defending national champions. They want to go back and defend the title. Richmond trying to get to the championship game for the first time. This is their first ever semifinal appearance. On 2nd and 10 for Richmond. Josh Vaughn tackled by Jacques Roman. It'll be 3rd down and about 8. Roman, highly recruited out of high school in Georgia, committed to go to Auburn, then thought he had a chance to go to Miami. So he backed away from the commitment to Auburn. Miami didn't want him. He was left with nowhere to go. Sat out a year, then came to Appalachian State and redshirted a year. So he's 2 years out of football, now a sophomore. 3rd down, nearly 9. Another big play. They went 3 and out on the last possession. Trying to avoid it again. Ward gets it off and nearly threw it as an interception into the hands of Woze. Daniel Finnerty had him wrapped up, and Ward showed his strength to get out of the sack and throw it, but he almost turned it over.
Rose showed great closing speed, but you're right, Sean. The ability to have a big fella, a defensive lineman, hang on your legs and still deliver the fastball. Lucky Rose did not make the play.
The Richmond defense holds, but now the offense has gone 3 and out twice. And Dexter Jackson tackled immediately. Josh Vaughn again. Outstanding backup running back with another big special teams play. Here's Rob Stone.
Well, guys, the Appalachian State passing offense wasn't much to speak of in the first half, but it's pretty much all that they've been talking about in the second half. Coach Moore saying, hey, we got to pass more. Armani Edwards getting some coaching on the sideline saying, hey, watch that free safety. He jumps in 9 times out of 10. You got to take that shot. And then Coco Hillary and Dexter Jackson, very emotional, very vocal on the sideline during that last break. Dexter really had to essentially be pulled away from the bench in Coco's face, but also barking out, I got to get the ball more, guys. Throw it to me, please.
You can understand why they've been leaning on the run when they rushed for 258 in the first half. The quarterback had over 200. They come out running on first down, and Edwards gets to the 29. For a gain of about 3, Brian DeMoss made another tackle for Richmond under 14 minutes to go.
But I understand the point. When you don't throw the ball deep, just subconsciously or consciously, what happens is everybody starts creeping up. When you got the Southern Conference 200-meter champion and a 4.39 guy, go ahead and send him and take your shot. Now, Armonte doesn't have the strongest arm, but he has good timing and accuracy. So look for Appalachian State to take a shot down the field, especially since it's being discussed and negotiated on the sidelines.
They've rushed for 324 tonight. They've thrown for 116.
Man,
great effort, and perhaps a first down. Tyler Sullivan made the tackle on Armani Edwards.
Again, Armani Edwards. And, you should talk about 175 pounds, and this is guts and determination, carrying 3 spiders on his back and wanting to win, and you got linemen standing around watching. You big fella, start clearing the pile. Help your boy out.
Looks like they're going to measure to see if it was a first down. Scott Satterfield, the quarterback coach, said yesterday, we knew about a lot of his physical talents, but we didn't know until Armani Edwards started playing for us how tough and competitive he is. Boy, has he demonstrated that. Did not get the first down. Going to be 3rd down and inches. Edwards up to 278 yards rushing. The single game record for Appalachian State is 291, which Edwards set earlier this year. It's also the Southern Conference record for rushing in a game by a quarterback.
And remember, they don't take a snap under center. They've taken one all year, only in victory formation.
3rd and 1 out of the shotgun. It is Richardson ripping through for a first down for the Mountaineers. Across the 45 to the 46 for Kevin Richardson. A gain of 11 on 3rd and inches.
That might be something that Appalachian State comes back to. Why? Because the defensive linemen in the outside perimeter front 7 players aren't pinching in for the inside run because of the concern of Armani pulling the ball out and taking off outside.
Similar to other spread teams, they get to the line of scrimmage, look like they're about to go, and then oftentimes look to the sideline. The keeper by Edwards. You know, we mentioned the first game as a spread team in 04. They went out to Wyoming, got drilled, scored only 7 points. Jerry Moore wasn't sold on it. Coming back on the plane, thought they might go back to being a power I team. But Jerry Moore said it done, and we didn't audible once that whole game. And we got a lot better at using the West Virginia system of audibling and taking advantage of a lot of the flexibility this offense has to offer.
Oh, yeah, and again, it's just about patience and learning it, but Jerry Moore has been a Tom Osborne guy. Option, power I. For him to spread shows his versatility and willingness to change.
The pass is juggled and incomplete. And boy, you could see how the running threat of Edwards has gotten into the heads of the defense. McBride came on a blitz. He was right in the face of Edwards about to sack him, but he just stopped because he was so afraid Edwards was going to take off running.
Once in, you see him coming in. Here comes the pressure, and I don't know what he's thinking. And maybe that's just being a young guy, not afraid of getting a late hit. But commit yourself. It's the playoffs. Go ahead and leave and take him out. You got a shot to get a clean hit on the star. You take that shot.
Big 3rd and 7 after a rare drop by Richardson, who's also their all-time pass receiver among running backs here. And what a throw by Edwards. First down and more. Inside the 30. T.J. Corman made the catch. 25-yard gain.
Watch it throw the back shoulder. Harris has a beat on the football, has a good break on the football. But Armani Edwards throws his man open, throws away from the defender. And you see the adjustment by the offensive receiver, Corman, to turn his body and catch the ball with his hands, with the ball thrown away from the defender. Defender coming inside, you throw it low and hard to the outside.
Well, Rob Stone saying those receivers wanted to see more throws. They got it. And Corman made a big catch. Richardson, the ball carrier. Of course, now any score here would make it a 2-score game in the 4th quarter. And Appalachian State does have a very good field goal kicker in Julian Roush.
I keep pounding Richardson up the middle. I pound him, then I stick it in there, I pull it back out and take Armani down the sidelines, because eventually the Spiders, as we move down the field, have got to converge that inside run and commit with some of their outside perimeter people, which should open the lane for Armani.
Richardson is the back. Option look. Edwards finds a seam. Inside the 10, flags down. He's down at the 6. Flag thrown in the secondary. 17-yard gain if it stands, which would get him up to 293, but it's a hold, as you see, against Appalachian State.
We're going to get Nick Cardwell right here.
Holding, number 88 on the offense. 10-yard penalty for the spot of the foul. Repeat, 2nd down.
It is on the senior tight end, Cardwell. He's gutting it out tonight. He didn't practice all week with an ankle injury. Another one of those former walk-ons. Coach Satterfield says he's their best blocker up front at 230 pounds. He can block just about anybody.
He had his man sealed off, and that's when you have to have the knowledge to go ahead and let him go. He did his job and just sealed him off. You don't have to get a knockout every single time. And right there, gave him a little hip toss. Yeah. Good call by the officials. Excellent.
Excellent look at it, provided by our terrific ESPN crew. Our producer, Josh Hoffman, our director, Jeff Evers. We salute our technicians. This stadium is undergoing major renovations. It was very difficult to set up all the equipment to bring you this telecast tonight. And they have done a tremendous job, as always. Edwards throws right on the money. Touchdown, Appalachian State. Cardwell atones for the hold with a touchdown catch.
Sean, they ran this play in practice. What it is, the play action. It sucks the linebackers. He's going to take off right down the seam. Watch sucking the linebackers. There goes Cardwell. Just pitch and catch. And Cardwell, only his 6th reception on the year.
When they ran that play, he was in street clothes the other day watching practice, but Scott Satterfield said, I want you to at least run this play. So he went in jeans and sneakers and ran downfield and caught the pass Wednesday afternoon. He caught it again. As Chris said, 6 catches all year, 2 touchdowns, and this one's huge. It gives them a 2-touchdown lead with 10-11 to go. Welcome back to ESPN's College Football Primetime. Tonight's NCAA Football Championship presented by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Well, Nick Cardwell, a holding penalty that called back a big gainer. Next play, a touchdown pass, and had to be blocked on that extra point. There wasn't a more excited man in the state of North Carolina. And the senior tight end, Nick Cardwell, is going to hang around after he graduates, help coach.
No, he's a former walk-on, passionate about this place, playing with a sore ankle and playing his heart out just like every single kid on the field, not only for Appalachian State, but also for the Richmond Spiders.
Last game in the stadium for the seniors, win or lose, the national championship game, should Appalachian State win, will be played in Chattanooga. No matter which team wins, it's going to be played in Chattanooga. Justin Rogers brings back the kickoff. Out to the 33. Let's look at the Coke Zero game track. Richmond down 21 in the first half, made it a 14-point game at the half, then scored twice to start the third quarter to take the lead. Excuse me, to tie it at 35. With a couple of big third down conversions by Appalachian State. Helped them take the lead. And then they expanded the lead on that touchdown pass, 29 yards to Cardwell from Armani Edwards a moment ago. Edwards has thrown 2 touchdown passes now. Thrown for 169 yards on 13 out of 15. Tim Hightower carries for Richmond for a yard. Daniel Finnerty, who's had a nice game in the interior of that defensive line. And Justin Wose made the tackle. Tough for Richmond, primarily a running team. Down by 2 scores and under 10 minutes to go. They have to move quickly.
Well, and they have the opportunity if Appalachian State chooses to stay in man-to-man, which will give them the opportunities to throw the ball deep. They're in man-to-man again here. And all they got to do is hold up front on pass protection.
Richmond 6-0 this year against ranked teams, 5-0 against teams in the top 11. Trying to keep that record perfect, but with a lot of work to do, and Hightower's doing some of the work. Out to the 49-yard line, where finally Wose got him on the ground. A hard-earned 16 yards for Hightower, and again Eric Ward kept his poise with Gary Farrington in his face.
See, Pierre Banks does a good job of picking up the screen, but when you get Lyman downfield and the big fella Hightower with the soccer boots rolling, getting positive yards, and Ward shows again his toughness. Get knocked down, get back up.
You really want to try to get them up to the line a bit more quickly. They're very casual here. Play clock under 10. 9 minutes to go. Ward's going deep down the sideline, just out of the outstretched hands of Kevin Grayson. Jerome Touchstone had the coverage. They've had a battle all night long.
Impressed with both corners for the Mountaineer defense. Wose and Touchstone, physical, and really a lot is demanded of them. When you're playing as much man as they are, they've really held up to the challenge all night.
Ward now 13 out of 27 passing for 206 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions. Hightower for 2, perhaps 3 across midfield, and then in the arms of Anthony Williams, the sophomore defensive lineman, who was second team all Southern Conference this year. The Appalachian State co-champs of the Southern Conference with Wofford, both were 5-2 in the league. 3rd straight Southern Conference title for Appalachian State. They're thinking about the 3rd straight national title. Ward hit as he throws, and it is intercepted. Corey Lynch. His 6th of the year, his 24th of his brilliant career, and it was Farrington who helped make it possible, again putting the hit on Ward.
Well, we asked earlier, where's the safety man? Here's the safety man, Corey Lynch. Big-time players make big-time plays in big-time games. Corey Lynch, there's none bigger in Appalachian State.
They've never lost a game when he's had an interception in his career. 20-0 all time. Yet another big play by Corey Lynch, his 24th career interception. We visited with John Wiley, the defensive coordinator, yesterday. He said about Corey Lynch, he makes big plays in big games, and I know he's going to make a big play for us tomorrow night. Apparently John Wiley's parking cars when he's not the defensive coordinator with that outfit on. He's the ball boy there on the sideline. Kevin Richardson carries for another first down. Out near midfield, under 8 minutes to go, and they're starting to sense a return trip to the championship game on the sideline. Lynch was emotional yesterday when we spoke with him about his last home game. He said, I've been so blessed here. So many great experiences, the national championships, the win at Michigan, the individual honors, playing for Coach Moore. He met his wife-to-be here, Sissy Graham, who's the granddaughter of the great Reverend Billy Graham. They're going to get married on December 31st here in the state of North Carolina near Asheville. What an experience he's had here.
Well, yeah, and not only his play on the field, but in the meeting he had his 2 national championship rings on.
Here's Armani Edwards. Perhaps running into the record books. All the way down near the 15-yard line. Seth Williams made the tackle. 34 more for Edwards. That's going to get him well over 300 yards rushing, a new school record. 315 yards rushing for Armani Edwards. And he has just set the all-time record in any game at this level for rush yards by a quarterback. The previous record was 309 by Eddie Thompson of Western Kentucky back in 1992.
Well, and Armani, and the point I was making is that Corey Lynch wore those rings to say this is what you have to do to get back. And a reminder, well, you see the guys playing like that tonight on both sides of the ball, and none better than number 14 in Armani Edwards.
Well, Corey Lynch told us yesterday as Richardson carries for a few. I don't wear my rings, but he had them on yesterday because he wanted his team to be reminded of what's at stake and remember all the hard work, all the effort they put in to be in that position to win those championships. And here they are, poised to have a chance at winning another, about to win in the national semifinals for the 3rd year in a row and set the record, if they do win it, for wins in the playoffs in consecutive years with their 11th playoff win.
You look at this offense, and yes, we talk about Richardson and Armani Edwards and Dexter Jackson. The offensive line, Sean, has blown holes open all night. Very physical at the point.
Well, Richardson carries again. So many things working in their favor tonight. The record here at home, 34 out of the last 35. The seniors are 37-1 all time here. The winning streak in the playoffs, which will be 11 in a row if they win tonight. And on ESPN, they've never lost. They are going to be 11-0 after this one on the ESPN family of networks all time, unless this turns around in a hurry. And like a smart championship team, they're milking the clock now. 3rd down and 5. They are in field goal range. And even a field goal here might be the final death blow to Richmond. That will probably do it. Cardwell, another catch. Touchdown, Appalachian State. And they are starting to pack their bags for their 3rd trip in as many years to Chattanooga. 13 yards on the touchdown. Edwards to Cardwell.
You run it once, they haven't stopped it. You keep running it until they do. Same play, same result.
Team that's averaging a school record in points, over 41 per game, has 56 on the board against a good Richmond team tonight. 5:27 to go between Jerry Moore and a return trip to the championship game.
And you thought your workspace was a mess. Check out Coach Moore's office, and we'll tell you how he gets his cake and eats it too. It was a little crunchy.
The NCAA Division I Football Championship is presented on ESPN by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. We'll pick you up. And in part by Dick's Sporting Goods. Every season starts at Dick's.
Well, I guess that's the FCS version of the Red Auerbach Victory Cigar. It's the Chancellor of Appalachian State University, perhaps their biggest fan, Kenneth Peacock, strutting around like a proud peacock with the 2 national championship trophies. He's not bashful.
No, but you love to see the head of the academia fired up about the football program and the sports program in general, new facilities, everything.
He's fired up, all right. Justin Rogers. From the 5 to the 29. Well, you saw Rob Stone in Coach Moore's office right before the break. Let's head back there.
All right, Coach, this caught my eye. Why are there so many cakes in your office? That's fresh.
Rob, every time we win, there's a lady here that's been baking us a cake for 15, 16 years, and she's fattening all of us up. This is not the most sanitary place in the world.
How long has this one been here?
It's been here about 3 days. It's pretty good shape, really.
That's right. Does she take requests?
You've got one.
I know I do, and I ain't sharing it.
We're told our technical crew took care of most of those cakes on the desk for Coach Moore. He's about to have another cake coming his way after this victory. They missed the extra point, by the way, so it's only 55-35. And Eric Ward is sacked. Gary Tharrington, they didn't even know if he was going to play with an ankle injury. I know you want the Chancellor to be proud of the athletics and involved in it, but you also don't want your players to kind of be hot dogs. And I think he is right on the line of perhaps crossing into the hot dog area.
Yeah, I mean, he's
whoa, dangerous pass intended for Hightower and very nearly picked off and perhaps run in for a score by Pierre Banks.
Yeah, I think, you know,
we saw before the game, he's walking along the student section on the front row, high-fiving everybody and
with the cheerleaders, and he enjoys it.
Yeah. Well, Jerry Moore loves him. Chancellor Peacock has students over to his house, very actively involved in the community. Good for him. He's proud of his school, and he should be. They win with a lot of class. Charlie Cobb, the athletic director here, deserves a lot of credit according to Coach Moore, too. Says he does all the things you need your athletic director to do to help you have a great program and win. Richmond in a 3rd down and 15. Short pass. John Crone, the fullback, didn't get very far. And it'll be 4th down. And I think Richmond, with the realization the outcome is no longer in doubt, is going to punt.
I think you punt, but the one rule that I would have, and we'll see if Dave Clausen has the same rules, I do not leave this field with any timeouts on the board. I think that's the idea. You punt, use all 3 timeouts. And
would you go for this? I mean, what do you have to lose?
I think because you have 3 timeouts, you punt and maybe play good defense and create a little better field position.
Appalachian State thinking fake, had nobody back for the punt from Brian Radford. It'll roll down inside the 35-yard line. 39-yard punt. 3:50 to go. All that stands between Appalachian State and the return trip to the national championship game. 20-point lead for Appalachian State. Under 4 minutes to go. They're on their way back to the national title game for the 3rd year in a row, led by Armani Edwards. He provided tonight's Pontiac game-changing performance with a score tied at 35. 3rd down and 9 on their own 32. He ran 44 yards. That came on the heels of 21 unanswered points from Richmond. They had all the momentum. That battled back from 35-14 to tie it. Looked like they were going to get the ball back with a chance to take the lead. And Edwards, as part of his record-setting rushing night, he's rushed for 313 yards, most ever by a quarterback at this level of college football. Edwards out of the game now. Trey Elder is the quarterback, and Devin Moore runs for nearly 10.
Yeah, and after that run, he, of course, then finished it with a run for a touchdown. What I mean, you can pick a number of plays for the Pontiac game-changing performance. That one was key because of the time but he's just been a special player all night. As good as advertised. In fact, better than advertised for my eyes, to be honest with you.
School record by a player at any position, breaking his own. The rushing record single game was 291 earlier this year for Edwards against the Citadel. And now Trey Elder, and his contribution should not be forgotten. Armani Edwards had a shoulder injury earlier this year, missed 4 games. They won all 4 with Trey Elder at the helm. He was the starting quarterback at the beginning of last year. Lost the job early in the season to Armani Edwards. But Elder remained very much the team player, and he has been a very important part of this program. He runs for a first down. Here's Rob Stone.
Sean, I'm with the leader of the pet band. He's also the chancellor here at Appalachian State. What did the deans say to you on Monday when you're parading around like that?
Way to go. People have to accept you who you are. I have a great spirit for Appalachian State, and it's wonderful to be out here with the students and see their energy and all. Look at this. It couldn't get any better than this when you have 7,000 students out cheering for their institution.
What is the success of your football team? How does that translate to your university?
The increase in applications that we've had, the quality of our incoming freshman class gets better and better every year. It helps us recruit diversity for our campus. So it has been a tremendous benefit for us academically, as well as the fun that you have from the athletics.
You made a quick change from that football jersey to this tweed sport coat. What would you have in store if you guys win back-to-back national titles?
You'll have to stay tuned.
Oh, he's a teaser, Sean.
We have fun.
I like that.
Have a good time.
All right, well, we'll see you in Chattanooga.
Thank you very much. Thank you for being here.
No problem.
Proud as a peacock. Chancellor Peacock, and he should be. 14-yard gain for Elder. Jerry Moore trying to stay away from the Gatorade buckets.
Yeah.
Well, crafty veteran, 68 years old.
Showed pretty good feet for a coach there, huh?
I like what Coach Peacock said, and it's true. I mean, the exposure on national TV. And you saw it in Columbus when Appalachian State beat Michigan. Of course, they became the Buckeyes' new favorite team, and there was Appalachian State gear all over the place in Ohio. The secretary here got bombarded with emails in the football office from fans who don't like Michigan around the country, congratulating Appalachian State on the win. There's a fumble, and Richmond will get it back at the 31-yard line.
Well, I came down here, Sean, with a bunch of requests for the Appalachian State T-shirts, which aren't uncommon in Columbus. So I went to the Walmart here in Boone, which, you know, they have one here.
If you have a Walmart, well, that's the standard.
And I got a bunch of Appalachian State T-shirts for some of those fans in Columbus, the newfound fans of the Appalachian State Mountaineers.
Devin Moore fumbled for Appalachian. Dave Clausen, classy guy that he is, gets Will Healy, the backup quarterback, into this national semifinal game, and a flag with 1:46 to go for a false start.
False start. Number 74 on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Chris Condorosi, fine offensive lineman, guilty of the penalty. The NCAA Division I Football Championship concludes on ESPN2 HD. 1 week from tonight, December 14th from Chattanooga. Our coverage begins at 8 Eastern Time. For a preview of every NCAA National Championship, including the football version, go to NCAAsports.com, the official online home for all 88 NCAA championships. Healy dumps it short. A little low for Hightower. He's frustrated. His career is about to end. But Appalachian State will go to 3 straight national title games. They join an exclusive list. Very few programs have done that. Eastern Kentucky in the late 70s and early 80s. Georgia Southern has done it twice, 3 straight national title appearances. Youngstown State in the early and mid 90s under Jim Tressel, and Marshall in the early 90s under our friend Coach Jim Donnan. The only 4 schools that have made it to 3 straight national championship games, and Appalachian State under Jerry Moore will be the 5th school to do it. Appalachian, though, will have the chance to be the first team to win 3 straight national titles. They're one of only 3 programs to win back-to-back titles. Georgia Southern and Youngstown State are the others. Remarkable accomplishments for a guy who thought he might be done with coaching 20 years ago, when he had been fired as the head coach at Texas Tech and was a volunteer assistant at Arkansas. had spent time in the mortgage business and hated it. His wife took a teaching job so they could afford for Jerry to be a volunteer assistant to Ken Hatfield. They lived in a $200 a month student apartment, and his wife and family made the sacrifice to keep Jerry's coaching career alive, and now he is a legend in these parts.
Yeah, and well deserved, Sean. And you just sit down and talk to him, and he's telling us stories. And a guy that's a tremendous coach. Why? Because he believes in what he does, and he lets his assistants coach, and he trusts what they do. Everybody buys into the system, and he's not only the coach, but he's been a tremendous father figure to a lot of these kids.
A minute away from their third trip to the championship game. Hightower, after a historic season, record-setting career, gets the carry. Perhaps the last of his career. Season will end for Richmond at 11-3, the school record in wins, and deepest penetration ever in these playoffs, and with a very young team and a terrific coaching staff. You'd have to think they'll be one of the favorites at the beginning of next year to make it back to the playoffs and advance.
You think there's a pretty good shot of the fans coming onto the field?
I think they're going to storm the field. 2 years ago, Appalachian State beat Northern Iowa for the first national title ever in school history in any sport. Healy runs into Jose. Last year, they beat the University of Massachusetts. Next Friday night, they'll play either Delaware or Southern Illinois. The fans are on the field. There's still 13 seconds to go. I'm not sure we're going to see those 13 seconds played. Appalachian State continues to make history. They win this national semifinal on a record-breaking night by Armani Edwards. 55-35 the final, the most points ever scored by Appalachian State in a playoff game, surpassing the 49 they scored last year against Youngstown State. Here's Rob Stone.
Well, Sean, I'm on the safest part of the field with Armani Edwards. Nobody's touching this guy in the post-game celebration. Why were you so successful running the ball today?
You know, they played quarters basically the whole game. We saw film, they tried to keep 8 in the box, but they played it different against us.
Richmond came back, about 21 unanswered points, tied things up. What did you say to your offense at that point?
You know, the whole offense knew, you know, we was very successful the whole game. We knew they couldn't stop us when we got back out.
Whoa. Everybody talks about your victory over Michigan in the beginning of the season. What does a third straight trip to the national title game, though, really say about this program?
It shows how much work we put into the offseason, you know. Not many people gave us credit to come back and do it again. We back again.
Armani, congratulations. We'll see you in Chattanooga.
Thank you.
Graphics, arts, and imaging technology major. Boy, you see why the goalpost falling is so dangerous as the other goalpost collapsed a moment ago. Yesterday, Armani Edwards had a final in dance appreciation. These fans appreciate the way he danced through the Spider defense and into the record books tonight. And they'll advance to the national championship game 1 week from tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern time on ESPN2. They'll play the winner of the game tomorrow on ESPN at 4 Eastern time between Delaware and Southern Illinois. They'll party long into the night here in the high country. Appalachian State beats Richmond 55-35. For Rob Stone, Chris Spielman, Sean McDonough saying good night from Boone, North Carolina. Let's send you back to our ESPN studio. Here's Dari Noka.
All right.